Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in St. Michael's, Maryland, a weekend away at a resort could be the cure for an ailing marriage until it turns into an actual murder mystery weekend. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We are so excited again for another edition of Small Town Murder. I know it sounds odd to say we're excited for murder, but you know what? We're excited for murder. Let's just say it. It happens. It's already out there. Yeah. We're just going to try to have a good time in the estuary around the sides. That's all. We'll do that. Thank you, everybody, for everything you've done for us this week, especially everyone who's gotten on iTunes and given us, or Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, giving us a review. We don't know why it helps, but it really helps drive you up the charts.
Yeah.
We're clueless as to why that is. We don't create iTunes or Apple Podcasts ranking algorithms, but for some reason it helps. So if you haven't done it yet, please give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. You just say you're following instructions, or it doesn't matter. Honestly, it's not for our ego. No. We can't be fixed with words. That won't help. So it's just for business purposes. Thank you for everyone that does that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder needs, all of your merchandise, tons of stuff there, new stuff. Those tote bag things, overnight bags are really cool. Those are cool. Lots of stuff there. Also, all of your crime and sports things. If you're not listening to crime and sports, I don't know what you're doing. If you say, I'm not really into sports, perfect. Then you're going to love this because you're going to love us making fun of athletes. So it's either way, it's just somebody who shouldn't do bad things because they don't need to, but they do it anyway. So
here's the thing about that too, is that I am into sports. I love sports.
Yeah.
But I know as much much
loves
about
sports.
sports as somebody that doesn't know anything about sports.
It's perfect, but he does enjoy them, though. That's the part that matters. Also, tickets. A new show has just gone on sale for April. I think it's April 7th and 8th. April 7th in both dates in Nashville at Zany's there. April 7th is a Small Town Murder Live. April 8th is a Crime and Sports Live. If you've been to that venue or one of our shows before, you know it's a small venue, sells out quick. So get your tickets now for that live right now. I don't know. We announced last week Milwaukee. There's a few tickets now they just released. They held 25 comps for us, like we know people in Milwaukee. Well, we don't know anybody in Milwaukee. You can just go ahead and release those and let people buy them. So there's, I think, now about 10 tickets left in Milwaukee. Right. So go grab those. By the way, Chicago's almost sold out.
So close.
December. So get your tickets right now before that sells out. Don't wait for that one. Upcoming shows, Raleigh, Charlotte, Atlanta.
Yes.
At the end of September. Get your tickets right now. We're coming to the South. So, we'll roll out the welcome wagon. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. And that all said, we also are going to, at the end of the show, have to thank our favorite people in the world, all of our producers. And you can be a producer very easily by going over to patreon.com/crime and sports, or you can go to PayPal, use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And we can't tell you how appreciated every dime. True. Thank you so much for everything you guys do for us. That said, we need to do the disclaimer for new people. You never know. People come in, they stumble in the door. What's in here? So we got to tell them. What's that in there?
Oh, boy.
It's a comedy podcast. Yeah. That's what you're looking at right now or listening to, as a matter of fact.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. It's a comedy show. All the facts are real. We promise that. The cases are real. Everything is real. Nothing's embellished for comedic effect or anything like that. But it is a comedy show. We're going to make jokes. We make jokes about small towns. We make jokes about, let's say, a bumbling police force lets a killer go for 5 years. We're going to make fun of them for that.
For sure.
A murderer who does stupid things and is terrible to people, they deserve whatever they get. But what we don't do, we go out of our way to do, or not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
That's true.
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags.
Yahtzee!
That's the way it works right there.
Yeah.
So if that sounds good to you, we are going to have such a good time. Let's have a blast. If not, if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, there is the door, the proverbial door. Use it, because you're not going to like the show probably. You're going to be offended, and then none of us are going to be happy. We don't want to hear any complaints afterwards. So if you're on board now, enjoy, lock in, sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's go on a trip, Jim.
I would like it.
Let's do this. What do you say? Let's go all the way. We were in New Mexico last week, your favorite state, as we know. Let's go back, clear across the country again, all the way to Maryland. Oh, back in Maryland. It's been a long time since somehow Maryland slipped through the cracks on us. I don't know how. It's one of those things. We're going to St. Michael's, Maryland.
Okay.
Interesting kind of a place here.
Was the last place we were there the one with the rock bridge?
No,
the concrete bridge?
I don't remember. It was Elk Ridge, I know, was the name of the town. It was the mannequin murders one.
Oh.
The several different people. There was it was a creepy...
Maybe I don't remember.
It's a crazy case, that mannequin murders. It's called the mannequin murders.
Yeah,
so think about that. It's pretty weird stuff. St. Michael's, it's in the eastern peninsula of Maryland. Basically, Maryland's shaped like a gun.
Yeah.
Like a gun pointed at the United States.
Right.
Like, look at it that way. That's the barrel of Maryland that way. And then one hangs down in the middle. That's would be like the trigger part. And then there's the handle of, as you would call a handle or a panhandle or a gun handle. Either way, that's where this one is located.
Can we start calling them all gun handles now?
Gun handles, yeah, I think we should. In the U.S., panhandles are now gun handles. Everywhere else in the world, you get to keep your panhandle, but in the U.S., it's a gun handle from now on.
The gun handle of Texas.
The gun handle of it fits the gun handle of Florida?
Yeah.
What fits better than that? It's beautiful. So this place here,
it's so good.
The Panhandle, or gun handle now, is an hour and a half to Baltimore. So it's all the way over in the east. It's about an hour and 15 minutes to Dover, Delaware, the other direction, capital of Delaware, and about an hour and 20 minutes to Elk Ridge, Maryland, which was episode 61.
My Christ.
Our last Maryland, March 14th, 2018, the mannequin murders. That's the last time we were in Maryland, which is so long ago. This is in Talbot County, zip code 21663, area code This is, by the way, area code 410-443-667. It's 1.25 square miles.
And they have 3 of them?
Enough area codes.
Stop it.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Just give these people an area code. Stop their suffering.
Unbelievable.
You shouldn't have a different area code than the person across the street from you. That's ridiculous. I get it. Yeah, I mean, not in a place like this.
Options.
I get it in a huge city where there's a bunch of area codes, but this is not a huge city, as we'll get to.
Right.
It's very small.
8 million. That's the number that you can get to with the 7-digit numbers per area code.
Well, they couldn't do it with this town. I guarantee there's not 8 million people here.
No.
Now, motto here, they have a nice town motto, quote, historic charm, nautical adventure, romantic spaces.
Oh, yeah.
So they're trying to, this is a getaway type of place. This is a very much come for the weekend.
Yeah,
type
come
of,
fuck your wife here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've been having some problems. Couple bottles of wine, and we're going to solve it.
Have some crabs and some pussy. Get in here.
Couple bottles of wine, nice bed and breakfast. You can hear your neighbors banging. You know how it is. You get in there. That's what they're pitching here. Or their other motto here, quote, all of the Maryland, none of the Baltimore, which is it's less known, but that's the one they tell people on the sly.
Pretty solid.
Listen, don't lump us here. History of this place. By the way, I goddamn love Baltimore, so don't take it out on me, damn it. That's what they say.
Okay.
They're not proud. History, this town was laid out as, we never hear this, okay? Usually it's laid out as a speculative development.
Yeah.
So this is laid out by someone who was speculating that this on land price. We never hear this of a town that's from a long time ago. It's always those towns like, Canyon Lake, California, where it was
something
like
in the West.
Yeah, something in the West or somewhere where it was like, we can make a town here. If I get a hose and fill this hole in the ground with a bunch of water, we'll call it a lake and sell houses by it and make it a vacation spot.
It's a real estate developer taking a chance.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
This happened in the 1770s. A guy did that, which was very forethought here. James Braddock here. He planned this town not like a grid. At that point, everything was like New York City is laid out. It's a grid. All the East Coast cities are a grid. Here, they laid it out in kind of like the European style around a central square. Kind of that way rather than a grid. It was the central square and kind of like old-timey, like a kingdom.
Right.
Like
roads went out of like a diagonal from center.
There was different, So the town was incorporated in 1804. It's an old town. Maryland. It's very old here. There was a church that predated the town that gave St. Michael's its name. That's why it's called St. Michael's. The Braddock guy, the speculator, he donated land for a Methodist church in the center of St. Mary's Square there, and they finally built a brick structure for this church after the War of 1812, and then they ended up knocking it down and building another one in 1839, and it was laid on July 4th, 1839, the cornerstone, and it's still there. So a lot of old stuff here. This is very historic. So many houses are from like pre-1940. That's awesome. Here. It's unbelievable. The industry back in the day in the 1700s, kind of up until the War of 1812, was shipbuilding. Yeah. That's where, old school.
On the coast.
It's old school. Yeah. That's not a huge, they build ships now, but not like this. They're not pumping them out like, oh, John Franklin needs a ship. We need to build it. Now it's like for the Navy or, people like that.
Carnival cruises.
Yeah, it's not the same. So I know like naval ship engineer, designer type people is like one of the highest paid jobs there is.
Really?
Yeah, it's some sort of nautical engineer. It's a very in-demand, high-paying job that nobody wants to do.
I could have used you in high school.
Well, I just heard that like 2 weeks ago. I didn't know what to do in high school. That's why I didn't even graduate from it, because I had no idea.
And am still dumb as shit.
I literally just heard that, and I was like, interesting. That's weird. Who the hell would want to do that? That sounds like a lot of math. And then I would moved on. I'd be terrible at that.
It sounds like a terrible job.
A lot of math.
I'd really like to have a big house.
That's the thing. That'd be great. So, they built schooners, and later they built a ship known as the Baltimore Clipper. That was what came out of there. These vessels were built to evade blockades and outrun pirates, or foreign naval vessels at sea, because, they would hijack things. And so that's the type of time we're dealing with. What do we do about the pirates and the foreign navies? You don't hear that much like off the coast of Maryland nowadays. Yeah. Well, the pirates and the Spanish are really going to be a problem. I don't know which will be worse, but we're going to get attacked by somebody. Yeah. That doesn't really happen here. So then later on, they use these ships as private armed vessels that would carry, valuables, basically like armed cars or armed trucks, except armed ships.
Back then, valuables were spices and sugar
and gold.
that
was what it was. Yeah, spices, sugar, tea, gold,
fucking coffee,
tobacco. If it's coming from here, was a big deal from there. So they the War of 1812 ended up happening, and this town is kind of famous for the War of 1812. There was in 1813 there was a fleet under Admiral George Cockburn moved up to Chesapeake Bay and toward St. Michael's because there was a militia battery there. This is, War of 1812. We're talking about muskets and cannons and shit like that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a totally different time here. There was a battery there to defend the town and its shipyards. So in the early morning, it was still dark outside on August 10th, 1813. There was a big battle there. The British sent a landing party ashore just south of town, and basically the Americans, or whatever you want to call them at that point, revolutionaries, turned the British back, and they ended up getting back on their boats. And so the British bombarded the town from their barges, and they didn't destroy the shipyards, though, or cause any substantial damage to the town. The militias were returning fire and everything. Contemporary reports noted that several houses were pierced by the British fire, but not destroyed. And they feel like they should have been destroyed. And so later on, after that, they made a legend out of it, basically, that this was as a result of the town dimming their lights and hanging lanterns in the trees beyond the town, so that the cannonball
shooting at the trees.
They pulled the Blazing Saddles on them, basically, where they were, if we can rebuild the town by morning, they come in a whumping and a womping, pulling a number 6 on them, then it's going to be a totally.
They can think they're hitting your front door, but they're hitting the trees in the front yard.
Exactly. Right. So, but they're shooting beyond the town into the trees, which that's what they were doing here.
Brilliant.
So they ended up being known as the town that fooled the British, basically. That's what they call themselves, and they're known as, and that sort of thing. There was a big celebration of the battle in 1963. So it's after the the War of 1812 shipbuilding went down, and the oyster industry came up big, and everybody here was involved in some aspect of fishing.
Okay.
Something. Every family had somebody that worked on a boat somewhere at this point in the 1800s. There was no other reason to be there. It was either oysters, or you were people who worked at the shucking houses that were producing oysters and all that sort of thing. They had a grading system for oysters and crab meat that they still use today that they came up with. Yeah.
They started then.
The crab meat one. Frederick Jewett devised a 5-level grading system: regular, claw, special, back fin, and lump, which is used still in the industry today. Yeah. So that's where they came up with that. Notable people from this town: Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist and, kind of she's statesman. A lot of things you could say about Frederick Douglass. A lot of titles for him here. He lived in and around St. Michael's on a lot of different occasions during his childhood and things like that. And then when he kind of came back a couple of times, so he kind of was around this town a lot. Harold Baines grew up there.
No kidding.
Baseball player. Yeah, still lives there today. Harold Baines.
He lives there still.
Yeah, the guy he played till he was 46 or something, because he was DH.
Played for everybody. For the White Sox, the Rangers.
Funny sidebar, he actually hit my friend's girlfriend with a foul ball about 2001. Yeah, it was a foul ball. Everybody went to reach for it except for her, who stayed perfectly in her chair because she does not know how to catch a baseball, and no one laid a finger on it, and it hit her right in the leg and bounced off and hurt her. It was hilarious.
Sure that stung.
It was a really high pop-up. It would have hurt super bad if just unencumbered or unobstructed bounced right off your leg. Would have hurt.
And the rumor is he did a shitload of steroids.
Harold Baines? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He was a small guy. He wasn't big. Was
Harold
he a shortstop?
No.
What did he play?
I think you might be mixing Harold up. No. Harold, outfielder, first base a little bit. DH
White Sox,
mainly.
right?
White
and
Sox
Rangers?
for a long time. Right? Yeah, he played for everybody, Baines, because he got around.
Yeah.
Old Harold Baines. He played forever, though. I'm trying to think of who you're.
I swear there's a rumor.
Are you thinking of Julio Franco?
I'm thinking of Tim Raines.
Or are you thinking of Tim Raines? That is a very different man.
Entirely different dude.
Tim Raines is famous for sliding head first to not break his Coke vials in his back pocket.
Yeah.
So that's a different guy.
Do you see why I don't know who the fuck I'm talking about ever?
That works.
Tim Raines, Harold Baines, same guy to me.
Same guy, Harold Baines, Tim Raines.
Did Errol Baines play for the White Sox?
Yeah, they both played for the White Sox. They both played in the 80s through the 90s. So, I mean, it makes sense. I could see it. They sound similar. I thought Eddie Murray and Eddie Murphy were the same person when I was 6. When I was 6, I'm like, that must be the coolest man alive. He's hilarious, and he hits 30 home runs a year. He's my idol. This guy's amazing. I'm like, they're two people? They're two great people? This is amazing.
Played for the Expos.
No, he didn't.
No?
He might have for him. He's at Orioles forever.
I think he played for the Expos,
Orioles and
too.
Dodgers were his main teams forever.
I swear I have an Eddie Murray card from the fucking...
If I'm not mistaken, my friend Rod Beck got him out for the last time of his career, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty awesome.
Him and Joe Carter, I think, were his last two outs.
That's the coolest.
2 Hall of Famers, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Which I thought was neat. As a closer, I guess you're going to do that once in a while.
Yeah.
So the movie Clara's Heart was filmed here, which starred Whoopi Goldberg in 1988, and Neil Patrick Harris in his Doogie years.
When he was still a kid.
When he was still a kid. Also, Wedding Crashers filmed near here a little bit.
That was there,
too.
okay.
And neighboring towns as well. Also, in Bob's Burgers, in season 6, they did a little take on the whole town that fooled the British thing.
The cartoon.
The sloop that duped the British was the name of the show. And they asked H. John Benjamin about it, and he said, yes, that's what they were doing, basically. And by the way, if he's hilarious, that H. John Benjamin. He has an audio book that's very funny.
Really?
Yeah, because he reads it, so it's just funny. It's just very funny. In 2007, the town was named number 8 of the top 10 romantic escapes in the USA.
There you go.
By Coastal Living magazine.
Those oysters, babe.
That's what it is. It's the oysters. It's 2008. Forbes published an article saying that St. Michael's called it, quote, the East Coast weekend getaway you've been missing.
Oh.
So it's a big deal here. They love this, and it's the permanent population has not changed much since 1860.
Okay.
Like literally since before the Civil War, it's basically the same. It's within very near. In 1860, population was 1,016 people.
Yeah.
Today, population 998 people.
Right around the same.
So in 160 years, they've
died.
lost 18 people. And through then, they went up to like 1,400 and down and up. But I mean, it's basically the same thing here. Down 23% since 1990, which is like 100, it's like 300 people. Yeah. So it's a lot, actually. Female population way higher than the males. There's old people are off the charts insane here.
Really?
This is Cocoon, just in a town. It's so old here. Female population 59%. That's how old this town is, because females outlive males.
Yeah.
You do.
It's a common thing.
You can outlive. So if there's a bunch of 95-year-olds, there'll be 8 women and 2 guys. That's how this shit works. The longer it goes, the more the males are, winnowed out here. So 59%, 40% male. The 0 to 9-year-old, the kids, those demographics are a little bit high, but the old people off the charts. 65 to 74, 75 to 84, and over 85 years old are all double the average. Yeah, all double.
Incredible.
Fucking old here. Just very, very old. Marriage, it's about the same, 50%. It's about what it is normal. Divorce rate's a little bit higher. Widow rate's double, as you might expect from an old town like that with all these old people. Single with no children, 17%. These old people are swinging.
Yeah.
You get out there and, hey.
That's amazing.
That's right. If you like it a little bit.
Damn near 20%. That's 1 in 5.
You like it a little crinkly, this is your town.
Hell
you know what I'm saying? It's going to work out.
I stuttered because you like it a little crinkly.
I don't know where that came from.
Jesus.
Race of this town, 66% white. It's normally about 62%, so pretty close to average. 28% black, which is more than double the average. 1.7% Asian, 4% Hispanic, so it's white and black.
Yeah.
It's Maryland. Yeah. Watch The Wire. It's white and black, guys. That's pretty much what you got there. So 43.3% of people in St. Michael's are religious, which is under the average. Every single town we do where the over 65 population is really high, that religious, it's low.
Plummets.
They either forget or they just go, I'm in so much pain, there's no way this is on purpose. This can't be a plan.
And whoever it is, fuck them.
Fuck them. I've buried 3 of my grandchildren. So the religions are spread out: Methodist, Lutheran, Episcopalian. It's pretty spread out. 0.9% Jewish, almost a Nagila. So close, so close, everybody. Damn it,
a tenth of a percent.
A tenth of a percent. If you can get a few more Jewish people, to literally like 10 more Jewish people to move there.
Send some invitations.
Hava Nagila next year. 0.0% Islam here. 42% of the people voted Democrat in the last presidential election. 52% Republican, and about 6% Independent, which is actually a little bit high. Unemployment rate's right about normal, about 4%. Now, here's where it gets weird. This is a town of very expensive homes, very expensive vacation homes, weekend homes. You know, rich people that live in like D.C. and shit. They call Dick Cheney owns a house here. Oh yeah, like a bunch of high-powered politicians and lobbyists. They have houses here. This is where you go. Then there's the people who live here, who are the people who, you know, sell you your coffee in the morning and, you know, shit like that, and do the normal jobs.
Do your landscaping while you live somewhere else.
Deal with the water department and all that kind of stuff. Normal people jobs here. They have to live there too. So it's very difficult and very weird, and we'll talk about it. Median household income is only $53,000, which is that's a $4,000 less than the national average. But when we talk about the cost of living, it's out of whack. Most of the jobs, over 15% of the jobs, are retail trade.
Interesting.
So knick-knack shit to strangers, to, you know, tourists.
The magnets
and shit like that. Yeah, shot glasses and magnets and crabs that have been laminated with like a, you know, St. Michael's on it. And you know how that works. And
shot glasses and magnets.
The shot glass and magnet industry is very big in a coastal town. Booming. You have no idea. Everyone wants a shot glass and a magnet. And social health care is very high too. A lot of people in healthcare because everyone's 100, so they probably need a lot of health care. It's just everybody's selling seashell shaped shit. Or wiping an old lady's ass. Those are the two jobs here. 93-year-old woman, wipe her ass, or sell this fucking laminated seashell with a crab sitting on top of it.
And a shot glass blower.
Holding a sign that says St. Michael's while a shot glass rests on his back. That one. Those are the jobs. Cost of living here overall is about 100's your average par. Here it is 137. It's a little bit high for it to have a, you know, cost of
East Coast.
To have an income that's low. Problem is the housing is very high.
Really?
$218 is the housing. Median home cost here $397,300.
How do you do it?
Which on $53,000 a year for a household those don't add up.
Oh God,
that just doesn't add up. 35% of the houses were built before 1939, which is triple the national average. It's a lot. The houses here, there's a few that are valued from 200 to 300,000, but a lot in the 500 to $1 million category. That's where a lot of these houses are, and then a good chunk over the $1 million range too in worth. And if we've convinced you that you need to be here for some reason, you're retiring, we have for you the St. Michael's, Maryland Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here, and this is all you can do if you live here and you're not a very wealthy person, is $1,161, which is actually below the national average, or right about at.
But still.
So that's kind of be there. You can't buy one because I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,400 square foot house that needs a lot of updating. It's got the old counters and it needs some work here.
It's a piece of shit.
$325,000.
My God.
For that. I found 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,700 square feet, up to date and everything, $825,000 for that. So that's a decent sized family home with that's going to cost you $800,000 for that. That's 2,700 square feet. It's a pretty good sized house, but still. And then I found, you want to stretch out here, I found a 5-bedroom, 9-bath, 8,400 square foot house.
That's a house.
It's gorgeous. And there's a ton of houses here like this. This is like very common in the houses for sale. $4.2 million for that. So
holy shit.
It's
That's
bit
so many shot glasses and magnets.
Oh, how many laminated blue crabs do you have to sell before you can buy a $4.2 million house?
My word, that's so much.
So many shot glasses, so many magnets with catchy phrases on them.
That's so much money.
Yeah, so many.
If I had $4.2 million, the last thing I'm buying is a fucking house like that.
So many. I got crabby in St. Michael's, Maryland. Fridge magnets out there.
It says I got crabs.
You know it does. Yeah, I got crabby with like a claw, blue crab with his claws out. So things to do in this town. Mm-hmm. Oh my, the 9th annual Eastern Shore Sea Glass and Coastal Arts Festival.
Oh boy.
You know you want to go to that, Jimmy.
Sea glass?
Sea glass. Eastern Shore.
What the fuck is that?
Sea glass. I don't know. Glass from the sea, Jimmy.
Boy.
Glass made from the sea. I've taken this ocean water and crafted it into glass. It will be held at the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum. Mm-hmm. Takes place, April 4th, 2020, which is 3 days before. We'll be in Nashville, Tennessee at Zany's for a live show of Small Town Murder. Just went on sale. Get your tickets before it sells out.
Pop through there and drive on down.
That's right. We're going to plug this shit. We're going to plug ours too. Ours is better, trust me. This venue, it says it's a new venue, which is great because now it expands and lets the festival include lectures, live music, food, and libations.
Yeah.
Oh my. The Sea Glass Festival will feature more than 70 artisans from local area here, as well as people traveling from as far away as New England. All the way from Connecticut? Whoa. All the way from northern Massachusetts? It's got to be 7 hours down there for them to drive. No way. All the way down there?
At least I now know that Maryland's not part of it.
It's like an hour and a half flight. No, it's not. Definitely not. It's the Mid-Atlantic area. They said who will exhibit and sell coastal and sea glass related jewelry, home decor, art, and more. Please note at the bottom, capital letters, the museum store now has an ATM.
All right.
So no need to stop
Cash
for
only.
cash. Also, the St. Michael's Brew Fest. Yeah, there you go. Here, feature 100 beers, including one-off, seasonals, collaborations, casks from local and regional and national breweries. 3 different locations. It will take place at the Crab Claw Restaurant. A couple other ones too.
Microbrew douchebags, welcome.
They have, you know it. Yeah. That's what it is. 13 bands and delicious food. VIP package is $100 here. Live music all day long.
Yeah.
All caps. That sounds like a threat. You're going to get live music all day long. What do you think about that? No.
Deal with it.
Please, I don't want it. What do I have to do? Bands from all over Delmarva, which is like the Delaware, Virginia, Maryland area here. Peninsula will perform at all 3 locations all day long, bitches, whether you like it or not. From rock to bluegrass to indie to funk, there will be tunes that everyone will jam to. Doesn't say that everyone will want to. Right. It says there will be tunes that everyone will jam to. Whether you like it or not. Mandatory jamming. No names. $50 for your basic package here.
$50.
A lot of beer.
Jesus.
Craft beer.
How much is $50 in beer? Probably. With craft beer, probably
in a
case?
bar. In a bar,
no,
or
I'm talking about in a
like
store because
you're talking
this has got to be retail, right?
Wholesale. This is more than retail. Well, you can have 20 of them though. Yeah. Stumble around drunk, throwing up.
You can't drink 20 of those beers.
You have to jam.
Yeah,
so that's another
it's
thing.
a requirement.
So you're going to throw up from all that jamming. I feel like at that point, you're going to want more beer after that, and they know these things.
You're going to retaste that flower.
Oh, you're going to,
Gross.
Absolutely. Crime rate in this town. What we're interested in here, Jimmy. Property crime is actually about a quarter high. A lot of these tourist towns, you get kind of a high crime rate.
People target them too.
Well, the property crime, and the property crime can be things that are very small that are shoplifting from the magnet from the shot glass store. I mean, you know what I mean? Shit like that is technically property crime. So, violent crime though, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is also a little bit high.
Oh,
maybe about 10% high.
Interesting.
So I think people are getting a little drunk in this town.
Yeah.
Some people come, some people.
$50. I'm going to drink my fucking craft beer's worth.
That's what I mean. Yeah. $50. You're going to stumble around. You're going to get angry at the bands that you've never heard of, that you don't like.
They're forcing this shit down my throat.
Someone's standing beside you going, jam.
Right.
Jam.
I can't do it anymore.
I don't want to jam anymore. I'm all jammed out.
I've jammed all the jamming I'm going to jam.
I have a limited amount of jam is what I'm getting at. There's just a limited amount of jam.
Jam.
That I got for you. So if that's not enough jam for you, I feel like maybe I don't belong here. Maybe, but if that's enough jam for you, then we can work this out. So, let's talk about a murder that happened here.
Okay.
I think that's appropriate, being that this is small town murder. Let's do this.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Let's talk about some people, okay? Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's just stretch our arms out. We'll go back to the mid-'70s for a minute.
Oh,
That's not when this crime takes place, but we just got to go back there for a second just to
Maryland?
set a scene. No, this is going to be in Pennsylvania here. We're going to talk about Stephen Ricco, first of all. Now, I've heard it pronounced, it's Rico. It's H-R-I-C-K-O. So I wanted to call him Harico, like Kent Herbeck, who was spelled like that, but it's Ricco, with the silent H, I guess. So there's a guy named Stephen Ricco. Everybody calls him Steve, and Mike Miller. Okay, they're really good friends. They become best friends in the 7th grade. So there's a couple of young guys here. They live in State College here in this town, and they grow up and they have basically a really tight friendship from the time they're 11, 12 years old in the 7th grade throughout their whole lives. So they have a really good friendship here. Now, Mike Miller ends up meeting his future wife, a woman named Maureen, when she was at Penn State in 1984. Because they're all from Pennsylvania, this whole crew here. And they started dating after that. And this is when they're like a freshman year in college type of thing. And Maureen ends up meeting a young lady named Kimberly. Okay. Now, Kimberly and Stephen both have a similar thing. Kimberly and Stephen are both kind of, they're not shy really, but they have trouble finding relationships. They both want to be in a relationship and they haven't found anybody to date really. They're both heavier set people at the time. Stephen he's 6'4" and really stocky. He's a defensive lineman in high school, a college football player. He's a big guy and she's a little bit heavy set too. Neither of them are like, anything where anybody would go, oh God, you're going to have a heart attack any minute now. But they're just like, they don't have a lot of confidence.
Oh, that's too bad.
In themselves, and they haven't been able to find somebody that each other really likes, basically. And so they're both having trouble, and they both kind of confide in their friends. Now, Kimberly works with Maureen, who is Mike Miller's future wife here, Steve Enrico's best friend.
Got it.
Works with Maureen as a waitress at as waitresses at a steakhouse. Okay. So they become good friends, and now Maureen knows Steven from, that's her husband's best friend, so she's like, I should introduce you to this guy, Steven.
Hell yeah.
He's super nice.
Matchmaker.
Yeah, my friend, my husband's known him since they were 12. He's a super nice guy. Right. He's not a dick. He's not going to, do anything weird.
Beat you around.
He's not going to knock you around or anything like that.
He also is a little heavy, and he doesn't like it either.
Well, it's one of those things where he's having they're basically saying the same things.
Yeah.
She's saying, I just want to find somebody. I haven't found somebody right, and I'm not that confident. And he says the same exact thing. So they're like, maybe it'll work.
Maybe you guys can be not confident together, and you'll be confident all of a sudden.
Each other confident, maybe, or whatever. So they just sounded similar, so why not? Now, she says, Maureen says, quote, we introduced them, and we went out on a double date, and from that point on, they seemed to hit it off.
Shit, yeah.
So there you go. She said, we went out on a double date one evening, and Steve fell in love with Kim immediately. And she's got like very red hair, by the way, too. She's a super ginger Kim. Yeah. Very pale, very red hair. Later on, she'll dye it kind of dark, but in her early pictures, you're like, wow, she is.
It's a different person.
She is super red. Yeah. Like it's just very noticeable. They ended up hooking up here. Kim is from Steven's had a pretty decent childhood, stable kind of family. He's got like I said, he played like high school football, that sort of thing. Kind of your typical Pennsylvania kid upbringing, like nothing outside the ordinary here. Kim had a bit of a rough childhood. Her parents got divorced, which kind of messed her up a little bit, but that wasn't the kicker. It was that her mom remarried to another guy, and the stepfather was abusive.
Fucking jerk.
So yes, exactly. Complete asshole. So that kind of, that's a tough thing. She's trying to overcome all of that shit too, and whatever. But she seems like well adjusted. Everybody says Kim is outgoing, social, wants to be life of the party, likes to do stuff, likes to go places, likes to have fun. Very fun person. So it's not like she's, she doesn't seem very much affected by her any kind of childhood whatever. So anyway, Mike and Maureen Miller, they hang out with Stephen and Kimberly. Everybody gets together, hangs out all the time. They're, always double dating and all that sort of shit here. They're all from the same town. They all went to Penn State. Yeah. So it's all just, it all fits. It's a very easy relationship here. This is going on through the 80s. Mm-hmm. This is happening. Now, Kim and Stephen get married in March of 1989. So you can kind of set that tone. They're about 22 years old, right after college graduation. Yeah. This is a very typical kind of American story back then of usually a success story or some sort of the beginning of a life together. Right. And, we'll check back on them in 40 years and they'll have, grandkids and stuff. But
401k pensions.
Not on this show, unfortunately. No. That's very rare that's going to happen. Someone's going to kill somebody or have There's somebody killed somewhere. Or, end up doing something crazy. So Mike is the best man at the wedding, and Maureen is Kim's maid of honor. Mm-hmm. So, they're just all best pals here. So now Mike and Maureen end up getting married also. Stephen is Mike's best man, and Kim is Maureen's maid of honor.
Adorable.
So, they're probably thinking, oh, we're going to have kids at the same time and all that kind of shit here.
The worst.
Yeah, they're going to come up together. We're going to live in the same neighborhood. Yeesh. We'll go to church together on Sunday.
We'll go golfing,
We'll
pal.
take one car.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of golf, these two are into golf on a professional level, not in terms of golfing, but in terms of golf courses. Now, within a year of being married, I think it's like 11 months after they get married, Stephen and Kimberly have a daughter. Yeah. So they right away start a family. They wanted to go right off the bat. Daughter named Anna. That's 1990. She's born. And Stephen and Mike have the same occupation. They studied the same thing in college. Same interests and since elementary school, it is the superintending and maintaining of golf courses. That's what they went to college
They're groundskeepers.
There's
a college course for groundskeepers?
Yeah, well, I assume the grasses and the different the temperatures and the grasses and the light and I would assume there's a science to growing.
Is there?
For a golf course, because that grass has to be pristine. Yeah. It's not like your yard where you just throw a handful of shit down.
It's not fucking Bermuda out
there. Put a sprinkler on and clap when some birds come and you start eating it. It's not like that. It's not ryegrass. It's a little
different.
It's all like those greens have to be.
Oh, they're pretty intense.
It's a different. It's a totally different thing.
You get them to whatever length they're supposed to be, and you buzz it down, and somehow their roots hang on to that.
I don't know how.
I don't know how
either. It doesn't turn brown.
No.
It stays green.
It stays bright green.
It's like moss, baby. Yeah. You've grown them.
That's what you've done.
Basically, it's a moss layer. It's weird that you can stand atop.
It is bananas.
There's no footprints in it or
It's so
anything.
weird.
It's a carpet. I don't know how they do it. But that's how they do it. They go to college for 4 years to learn. I think that's it.
And they know how to make it fast versus slow versus
whole deal.
And you can move the hole and somehow you can't tell. How is that? The grass is so fucking short. How do you hide
perfect,
it?
damn it. These people are perfect.
How do you fucking jerks do it?
You know what you do? You go to college for 4 years and you find out because these like high dollar courses, private courses in some of these towns, like a St. Michael's where a rich guy or a rich family would go. A Dick Cheney might go play a few rounds of golf.
Or in Phoenix.
We've
got shitloads of golf courses.
Scottsdale.
It's crazy.
What are they called? These big hotels that are
the resorts.
The big resorts. There you go. These big giant resorts that have all these golf
championship golf courses.
They have to be perfect. These people are paying a fortune, and if your green is brown, they're not. That's not a green.
It's not green.
That's a brown.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm not paying that much money for this shit. So, they do this. Stephen is the superintendent of golf courses in Western Pennsylvania, also in Dundalk, Maryland, and then later on in the early 90s at the Patuxent Greens golf course near Laurel, Maryland, is where he ends up getting a job. And Mike Miller, he ends up first getting a job in New Jersey, and then finally in October of 1993, he gets a job, Mike Miller, at the Harbortown Golf Course in St. Michael's, Maryland. So now they both live in Maryland by 1993. So they've done all this.
And
they grew
pals.
up from the 7th grade.
Right.
Pals. They go to college together for the same thing. They meet girls. They get married. They're each other's best man.
Yeah.
They get the same job. They travel for a couple years and end up meeting in the same state.
What a fucking horrible life.
Oh, God. Can't get rid of this guy. I can't get rid of him. He's moving to Maryland now. Yeah.
We're in the same business. He's my fucking competitor. I'm supposed to be friends with this guy?
She's a drunk. He's an arrogant fucking dick. I don't want to hang out with these people. Why do we always hang out with them? Since college we have. So what if we went to college with them?
But we introduced them.
For Christ's sake. So, yeah. So, anyway, they both get settled in Maryland, and they keep their close relationship, and they keep their, the same.
That's crazy.
It's just never stopped, basically. Then the couples do normal things. I mean, they're building families. They're buying homes. They're moving up in their jobs and, getting promotions and things like that.
We're keeping up with the Joneses shit.
Yes. They're becoming adults, and they buy Steve and Kim buy a $200,000 life insurance policy in 1996 as a security thing. That's what you do when you have children, and you start to put a couple bucks in the bank. You say, well, I don't want to. If I die tomorrow, somebody better get something here.
Kids are fucked.
Exactly. Right. So we're all going to be screwed. Kim is a certified surgical technologist. She's assigned to the operating room, first at Holy Cross Hospital from 1995 up until about December 97, and then another hospital after that. Okay. So she's got like a
badass.
Yeah, she's got like a real kind of stressed, high level type of job there. She, from what I understand and what her friends say, is that when she gets a job at the hospital and in this surgery room here after she does all of this, she starts meeting, she likes the fact that she's at a hospital. There's a million people at hospitals and to talk to, and friends, and
in and out all day.
And there's a lot of employees and a lot of other, there's nurses, there's doctors, there's tons of people. And so she likes the social aspect of it, but she also is around people who have kind of a better lifestyle than her. She's around, surgeons and doctors and people like that, where she sees this other lifestyle, and she's, they have a good life too. I mean, they have a decent house and a, nice little thing going on, but it's not extravagant.
Right.
And she kind of,
sure, you make the most amazing grass.
Yeah. I mean,
can you take somebody's fucking spleen out?
That's the thing.
Right.
And I don't know how that is, because men don't look at women the same way as mates as women look at men. And I'm not saying I know how women look at men, but the fact that
assumptions, it's all right to assume.
The fact that there's 75-year-old men who date 23-year-old supermodels and they're not poor.
Security.
It's a matter of you've never seen there's no 23-year-old male model in the early 2000s. What's his name? What the hell was that guy's name?
I don't know. Lorenzo Lamas.
Yes, Jimmy, the renegade, Lorenzo Lamas.
I'm looking for handsome.
But anyway,
I landed there.
You're never going to see some 23-year-old hot international model going out with a 75-year-old woman.
It's not a thing.
It's just not a thing. We don't care how smart she is, how rich she is. We don't want to have sex with her. That's
when we hear that, if that ever happens, we go, he's clearly gay.
Yeah, that's clearly not happening.
That's not interested in sex.
As a woman, somehow I've heard women say you can be attracted to somebody based on their personality and based on their charisma and shit like that, where it doesn't matter age and shit like. And I don't know if money's a part of that.
That is a thing too, because you're dating someone 10 years, married to somebody 10 years. I'm dating somebody 10 years younger than me.
Yeah,
it's a thing in terms of the age difference. I don't know that I'd date.
Yeah, but I didn't even. Jesus, I guess I'm relatively humorous, but other than that, I didn't have anything. I didn't even have a goddamn podcast when she started liking me. So I don't know how that happened.
That's a damn good point.
Yeah, that's just. I must be a charismatic motherfucker, Jimmy.
Men generally do. I know a few guys that have dated or married somebody that was 10 or 15 years older than them, but not much further than that.
No.
But I know plenty of women that have gone 20, sometimes 30 years older.
I mean. I don't mean the 10 or 15. I'm talking the way different. Like older. You could be my grandpa. It's a completely different thing. So it's just different. Whereas men don't see that. Men can see a 7-Eleven clerk who, has like some sort of scabs picking at her face from her meth habit, and we're like, what, if she cleaned up a little bit, she wouldn't be half bad.
She could pick all those all day long.
It's a weird thing.
Her second button's unbuttoned, and it really does something for me.
It's a weird thing that guys have. It's not, we don't care. No. We almost see it as like ooh, it's the wounded antelope theory that I had in my joke of, we're like, ooh,
she'll probably fuck me.
Yeah, that was the punchline. Like, look at that car. It's she's driving an 88 Celica with one headlight and the rear view dangling off to the side. I got a shot here. That's how men, not that it's true or not, but that's how men think of it. You know what I mean? Whereas a woman doesn't think that. They go, oh, Jesus, look at that disaster.
It may depend, too, on how you view yourself, because I see myself as a piece of shit that can't get much anything better than what I am. You know what I mean?
That's true, too, yeah.
And women tend to go, you know what? I fucking deserve it. And they go get whatever they deserve.
Maybe that's it. I want someone I like better, someone who's charismatic.
I just deserve a better life than what I got.
Magnetic personality or a better life. I don't know what it is.
And I look at me and I go, I should be with a meth addict.
Emily's not a meth addict, everybody, by the way.
Pick those off of your face.
Just for the record.
No.
Just so everyone knows.
I have recently done some work on me, and the girl I'm dating is much better than I deserve.
That's good. That's better. So anyway, Kim at the hospital, she's got a heavy job working in a surgical environment. It's a heavy job.
It's a tough life.
Included in her responsibilities in the operating room itself she is in charge of disposing of all unused medicines and drugs following operations. So she's the person who is authorized. You're the person who's
dispose of the propofol.
Yeah, you have to sign off that you disposed of all of these drugs that are lying around afterwards and properly. So that's her job. So that's a trusted position.
It's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility in a very, very responsibility-laden environment of a surgical room. You don't get
it's harder to find more responsibility.
You don't get it anymore. You literally have a human being open. Shit that shouldn't be exposed to air is exposed to air. We need to really...
You've kind of got to be in government to be more responsible than this.
And very specific. Like, making sure nukes don't go off by accident.
Air defense.
Things like that. Yeah. Things of that nature. Nothing else is even that important. That's very,
many
very
lives depend on you.
Yeah, exactly. So now, like a lot of marriages here, about 97-ish, there starts to be some problems in the marriage coming to the surface for Kim and Steve. Not for the Millers. They're doing fine.
Right.
But Kim and Steve start to have some problems.
Oh, the recos.
And it's just, it's probably, they're 8 years into their marriage. These things happen. I mean, people kind of grow away from each other, especially if you got together when you're 22.
You've known each other that long?
You've known each other since college. You got married when you're 22.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's, you don't know. You might be very different. She's not kind of this freshman girl who doesn't, relationships, and she's a little sketchy and doesn't feel confident about herself. That's not her anymore. Now she's a confident woman who's a surgical nurse and technologist.
She's got a fucking career.
She's doing all this shit, and they're just different people. So I think that's what happens with people. Now Mike and Maureen Miller said they were aware of these problems because they're best friends, so they confide in each other. And it too when if someone hates their wife and they get a call from their wife, and they go, that guy hates his wife. It's just a fact. You know what I mean?
How pained were those phone calls?
You know, jeez, here it is again.
We'd be at the fucking studio, and my phone rings, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Don't answer it, Jimmy. Jimmy, don't answer it. That's what I would say. Jimmy,
it's going to happen again,
don't
James.
answer it.
It's going to keep ringing.
Let's turn it off then. Put it over there. Put it in a different studio. I don't know. But you
Leave
can't
it in your fucking car.
I don't care, but this is not healthy. So that's what ends up happening here. So they're still together, but I mean, people complain to their friends. You know what your best friend's problems are.
Absolutely.
In something like their marriage, especially if you got them together and they've been very involved and intricate and aware of your marriage, and everyone's going to be involved. The best man and the maid of honor, they're going to have to hear some shit here. So a friend of theirs, who's a friend and a former neighbor, she said she used to see Kimberly all the time. Kimberly used to go out with the girls on Friday night. She's got a very active life. She does social things, and she tries to just live her life and be happy. She said that Kimberly she asked her, because she just kept saying she was unhappy. So this woman said, well, why are you unhappy, to Kimberly? And she said, Kimberly said there was a lot of verbal abuse. She also said that Steve didn't do anything, and she did everything. She was just totally unhappy with him, and she didn't want to be married to him anymore. That was the gist. Yeah. Not even the gist. That's what she told this lady in plain English. So that seems like a problem.
Those are some loud gripes. And if that's her gripes, then what's underneath is way worse.
That's just, I'm done with this person. Yeah. That's not like, well,
that shit's over.
Yeah,
there's no counseling coming
back.
That's
what I mean. That's not like he does this one thing that I wish he wouldn't do, or she does this, right?
You heard him slurp soup.
You know what I mean? Gross. Or whatever. Even like he works these long hours. Well, maybe he can get a different schedule, or he can adjust his thing, or nothing like that. It's, I don't get to spend time with him. It's not that. It's, I don't want to spend time with him. I don't like him.
I hate that man.
I don't like him. She was just completely unhappy with him. Yeah. That's it right there.
I want to like my husband, and I don't.
Absolutely. She described to a former coworker of hers, quote, this is what the coworker said, quote, she said she had been feeling really bad about their marriage for a long time. She said that her and Stephen had been having problems and had been having problems for a long time. So this isn't new. This is just people, it sounds like, growing apart. She said that, the coworker said she always suspected that she had problems, but, she had never really confided in her until this one time. And, Kim said that she'd been living a lie for a long time, trying to act like she had a happy little family, and she doesn't, and she's miserable. In the summer of 97, she asked Stephen to go to counseling, and they don't really, I don't know if they go to counseling in summer of 97 or in early 98, but they end up in some kind of counseling somewhere. If they do go to counseling in summer of 97, it didn't work real well.
No.
Put it that way. Yeah, because it just gets worse. It was not a winning therapy situation. Yeah. Another coworker of Kim's, she talks to everybody about.
She is just vocal about
she's
it.
very social. She has a lot of friends, and she just talks to all of them about it. She's just
transparent as fuck.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what it is. Now,
you know what it is? It sounds like she has had a taste of a good life one way or another, and she knows what it's like, and she's seeing if everybody else has it, because she knows that for sure that she doesn't.
It's, you mean like it's almost like, are you happy? Like if everyone else goes, yeah, that's just life. You think maybe
that might be it.
Yeah, she's feeling around to see if
feels like there's something better, but she's not sure. And
maybe.
Are my friends having a better life than me?
Or feeling. Also, too, people look for support among their friends, where they'll kind of float something to see if they're supportive. Like you say that, and you go, you want your friend to go, well, why have you thought about leaving him? And then you go, well, no, that's a good idea though. Maybe I should. That's might be what it is. I don't know. By the way, I'll talk about that later.
All right.
It's maybe what it is. I'm not sure here.
That's probably closer to the truth than we know.
Because people do that.
Yeah.
People feel they feel around for shit, and that's just human nature.
You got a divorce before me, and I asked you so many questions.
Oh yeah,
to see if that was the path I should probably be taking, and you probably felt it.
Yeah. Except I was like, yes.
Fuck, are you talking
Obviously,
about?
Jesus Christ. It took you this long? You two were together. When I saw you two together for 8 minutes, I went, well, this isn't going to last long. Hell, you've been waiting for. These two don't like each other at all.
These two hate each other.
Wow. You could see that shit from space.
Unbelievable.
Literally. There was astronauts going, there's a couple, I don't think they like, see? It's in Western Phoenix. I don't think they like each other.
Somebody tell them.
Wow.
Hey, Haiti, well, look at her go. She's pissed.
I feel like that's
hysterical.
Jimmie's marriage.
It was the both of us pissing on each other's anthill every day. And
Pretty
watching the ants just go nuts.
Pretty much. That was a sad state of affairs, man. So, good God. So there's a coworker of hers at Holy Cross Hospital named Jennifer Gowan who got married in November of 1997. Yeah. Kimberly was her maid of honor also. So Kim is very social.
Boy, oh boy.
That's too social. I will say this, and I'm proud of this fact. I'm proud. My whole life, I've gone through all my friends getting married. I've never, ever, ever been asked to be in a wedding.
Yeah.
Like to have to get, I attribute that to my theory and my motto of keeping things at an arm's length. It's perfect. Just far enough where you feel a little uncomfortable asking me to be in the wedding. I don't want to ask him to put a tux on. I don't know. He's, it works great.
I'm as much of a social butterfly as any of these fucks, and somehow I have figured that out also.
Yeah, a lot of your friends are white trash. They got married on a whim and shit like that. You were my best man when I got married to Sarah. But that was in the yard.
Man.
You were in the yard. I was like, get over here and stand next to me, dickhead.
You said we're both beholden to each other, logistically and legally, for the next fucking year, so you may as well stand next to me for this shit, too.
I don't think I put it like that. I just said, get over here, fucker. Stand here. Move your ass.
I need another witness.
Come on. Stand next to me. So Kim is the maid of honor here. Now, while they were doing the final wedding prep, because maid of honor is kind of, I guess, a big deal. You have to, you're all in, I don't know if you're planning hair and make, I don't know what it seems like you're very involved.
It's a big deal.
Best man, you're expected to throw a party and show up.
Throw a party and then throw up at the wedding. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do.
But not on your tux.
Right.
That's your job. And hold a ring for a while. Right. That's literally all you have to do.
And then do that hacky thing where you pretend to lose the ring.
Yeah, you make asshole. A toast, I think, but otherwise that's it. There's there's not a lot of hours involved in it, really. Maid of honor is like this is going to be the next 30 hours a week for the next 18 months. Right. I have a second job now where we're going to plan colors. We're going to worry about the bridesmaids' dresses.
Every word I say in that toast is going to matter.
These fucking centerpieces are more important than you understand.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's real.
Shit is crazy. So, it's a heavy involved job. So apparently this woman the bride says that Kim says that she was not happy in her marriage and that she was considering possibly getting a divorce. So by November, she's kind of edging November 97. She's edging toward that. This woman, Jennifer, says, quote, after my marriage, after the honeymoon, when I got back 2 weeks later, we had more conversations. So she was still, it's just all that's in her mind here. Now there's a woman named Rachel McCoy here. That's a woman that's been friends with Kimberly since college, another friend of hers. They talk at least once a week. So she keeps in touch with all her college friends. She's very social. I'm impressed with that. So she says September or October 97, Kim told Rachel, quote, she told me she'd been looking into getting a divorce, that she wasn't happy in her marriage. That was really about it. She said she felt that he wasn't very helpful around the house and he didn't like to go out and do stuff with her. She was much more outgoing than he was, and that really bothered her, and it started to bother her more and more over the years.
Yeah.
Which it does.
Oh, that's a big fucking deal.
If you have, it is. It's fine at first, but over the years, these differences cause chasms in relationships.
Yeah.
You're not filling in each other's gaps at that point.
But there's also a spot where, like, if you're social and you have somebody that's with you that's not fucking social, or way worse, like antisocial, which sounds like whatever. You know what I mean?
Just not social.
Right.
Actively not social. Not,
there you go.
Not psychologically antisocial, which is
but
a different thing. But
if you're social and you like being at events, you can't have somebody with you that's a recluse in a social environment.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
It doesn't work. You either both have to be standing on the side going, look at this fucking guy, or you both have to be in the middle of the mix.
Opposites attract until that fucking chasm comes into effect. You have to be able
to fill in each other's blanks like that shit.
You can have dichotomies in all kinds of aspects, but social anxiety needs to be fucking either level, or it needs to be something where you guys can balance it and work together with it.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can't be somewhere where somebody else is going to sit back and be a dick about where you're at.
That's the thing. Like with Sarah, we're a really good combination. Neither of us want to go anywhere and talk to anyone. But if we have to, we're very good as a team working it out. And she knows when I'm like not feeling it in the situation, so she'll take it over and talk, even though she doesn't want to.
And even if she has to, she'll also help you exit
and
that
then she'll
situation.
Help me exit. Yeah, and I'll help her because I know she doesn't want to be there either.
Sure.
She's very social as far as she's good at smiling and being and looking really the part. She's involved.
Yeah.
She's paying attention. Yeah. You know, she's good at it. We work well together.
She keeps the conversation moving towards an end game.
Toward the end.
Right.
That's the important part for me.
Exact key for you. Whereas me, with Emily, she loves fucking keeping it going and laughing and making a whole fucking scene of it.
Yeah.
And then but again, there has to be a direction that this thing goes to.
That's the thing.
If it doesn't, then you need the fuck out.
We want to laugh at that person when they're not around. That's our goal. Let's get away from that person so we can talk about what an asshole they are.
The Uber ride home is always a blast.
That's fun.
And I fucking high five every driver that gets to drive that.
That's great.
They get to hear a great conversation of shit they have no idea about.
They weren't there for. So these are normal marital problems. Yeah. This sounds like a marriage that's sort of run its course. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can go to counseling. You never know. It doesn't sound like it, but you never know. Maybe if they went to counseling and she said, "This is how I feel," and he went, "Holy fuck, I didn't know you felt like that. That's terrible. I'll try harder." And then she said, "Oh, there's the guy. Remember it?" Who knows? You never know. It could work, and people have done it before, and it worked out. If someone's not aware of your feelings, especially over a period of a couple years, you start to resent them for not being aware of your feelings, even though they're not even aware of your fucking feelings. So the
communication is so key.
Communication,
so important.
So that might be a thing here. You never know, but it sounds like maybe it's just over. You know, things happen.
Yeah.
So in late November and early December 1997, the holiday month there, Kim really starts becoming, starts getting antsy. She wants out of this marriage. She talks to everybody. And we'll go back to that in a second here. Last week of November 1997. Okay. Now, this whole thing is going to, we'll get back to that November 1997 in one sec, but we're going to shoot forward quick to Valentine's Day weekend 1998. Okay, Valentine's Day weekend 1998.
4 months later.
4 months later, Mike Miller, Steve's buddy here, he works at the Harbor Town resort here, place near or in St. Michael's. So he says that Steven telephoned him in January and said that, quote, he was looking for somewhere to go with Kim to spend a romantic evening. He said he wants to work on the marriage.
We got so many oysters, bro.
Oysters and wine, and you're going to,
The ocean. Fuck her crazy. You're going to fall in love again.
That's what he's trying to make.
Yeah.
I don't know if he thinks this is going to make up for, however many years of this falling apart.
Of hatred?
We're just going to go for one night and everything will be fine. We'll get home.
Go right back to the same shit.
I don't know. That's at least he's got some idea. He's not just going, I don't know what she wants and turning the TV on. So
he's giving a shot.
He's trying something. Yeah. So Mike here, he knows that that the place he works at, Harbor Town, was having a Valentine's getaway weekend thing. It's a weekend package with you get a room and you get alcohol, and there is a murder mystery dinner theater that runs in there too.
So great.
So you go there, you watch the show, you eat dinner, you get shit faced, you stumble back to your room, and you bang away. And then you come home all happy.
God,
apparently.
This is hot.
That's what we're talking about here. So they're going to one of these. I'm sure it's a very corny dinner theater. It's one of those.
It sounds something you ran.
No, that's what I did. I actually did run a dinner theater once, a murder mystery.
It's not fun.
No, well,
it's hacky and dumb.
Guy I know wanted to do it, so I went, okay, but we have to do it completely making fun of it. That's the only way we can do it. So it's a very satirical, it was filthy.
Yeah.
I wrote a filthy dinner theater. It was very weird. Not in terms of cursing, but in terms of like
sexual innuendo and stuff?
All sorts of innuendo. Yeah. It was very dirty and very subversive. And it was very strange to take your grandma to. We had an audience of like young people who have been like, dinner theater's weird. I've never been to dinner. Like, it was weird. We had like college kids going to dinner theaters because they were like, this fucking show is crazy. Literally. We had reviews from like the ASU Devil paper and all that shit saying this show's great. You got to go see it. It's weird.
This shit's crazy. It's way up in North Scottsdale. Go to it.
It was in Tempe. They'd be like,
did you do it in Tempe?
Yeah, they were like, you'd expect this to be old people, but it's crazy. Yeah, it was.
You did over there. What is that place called?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But it's the fucking famous place.
Yeah, it was a good place, but yeah. So anyway, this is not that. I'm probably pretty sure. This is probably
hackery upon hackery.
This is hackery.
Dumb, but it's like it's not focused on the show. No. It's focused on you,
audience participation. Right. And so, what do you think? And they bring someone up and see. I didn't do any of that shit. That was not how. There was a fucking script. Our actors would deal harshly with anyone who fucking.
Your show would be great in Vegas, where like you're almost telling everybody get the fuck out.
That's kind of what. Yeah, it was. It was interesting. Very different vibe than anything before. So anyway, there's this thing, and he said, "Hey, this could be fun. This could be for you." Yeah. So we call Steven up, and he goes, "What about this? You know, you wanted to take her away. How about Valentine's Day? This whole thing." Steven was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." And so Mike was like, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll work it out so you can have one of the better cottages there that has a view of the river, real romantic like." Right. Yeah, he's going to work this all out for him. So he's got something cooking here. Mm-hmm. So Mike and Maureen, the Millers here, they even say, we'll even babysit for you. Their daughter Anna's 9 at this point. Yeah. Stephen and Kim. So they're like, we'll even babysit for you. They don't end up taking them up on that, but they offer. Mm-hmm. They said they just wanted to give them this time away, and they thought maybe this would help, and they would do anything possible to facilitate helping their marriage.
I'm excited for Steve's dick.
At this point, whip it out, Steve. Yeah. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a gander. Let's see what you're working with,
big guy. Buddy.
Let's see what you got.
You got a lot to prove.
Let's go, buddy.
But you're working with. You got a full toolbox.
It's a whole weekend going here. Let's see what you're doing here. So.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs that helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
The couple said they knew they needed time away. Normal married couple shit, right? They're working out. She's disillusioned. But it's not exactly normal married couple shit, because it gets worse than that in the time between Thanksgiving and this Valentine's Day. Now, November 29th is Jennifer Gowan's wedding, the wedding that Kim is going to be the best, the maid of honor.
Thanksgiving weekend?
Thanksgiving, I guess, the week after, or Thanksgiving weekend.
It's horrible.
One thing, if it's in a place like back east, people go home for Thanksgiving weekend, so you might get guests that have moved away. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Either way, and you're also getting a fucking deal.
Yeah, that too. Well, like, I've gone back to New York for Thanksgiving weekend a long time ago, and like, if you go to a bar, everybody went to high schools there. With, and you're like, where the fuck did all these people come from? They all came back to town. Yeah, that sounds terrible. It was too. I was like, this is the fucking worst.
I just came for a drink. Fuck all of you.
This is so terrible. And one of my friends lived above the bar, and he's like, "You want to go smoke a joint?" And I was like, "Yes, get me out of here." And we're sitting there, and he can hear the music and people, and I look at him and I go, "How do you do this?" I couldn't help it. How do you do this? How do you live here?
While he's rolling, or like you're already stoned?
While we were halfway through smoking. How do you do this?
How do you do this, man?
And he just went, I don't know. That was his response. He literally shook his head and he went, I don't know. Like, I never thought about it before, but I should kill myself now.
I really appreciate you being here, because I don't fucking have a clue.
Thank you for ruining my whole psyche.
I had a whole...
Handed him back to the joint.
Smoking mirrors and everything.
Flew back out to Phoenix and left him to wallow. He committed suicide a month later. Didn't go back for the funeral. He's still alive, unfortunately for him. Miserable still, but alive. Now, this wedding, November 29th, she's the maid of honor. The week before the wedding, Kim hosts the bachelorette party for Jennifer. Yeah. It's in Easton, Maryland, there nearby. That's where they filmed a lot of the Wedding Crasher stuff. Okay. It started out at Maureen and Mike Miller's home. And later on, they go to a restaurant and bar, and they're out. And basically, they're out until the place closes at about 1:30 a.m. Okay. So they close the joint down.
Hell yeah.
Bachelorette party here. A few days later, Kim throws a shower for the bride at her home, at Kim and Steve's home in Laurel, and then the next day the wedding party. The next day's Thanksgiving, and the whole wedding party spent most of Thanksgiving Day at Steve and Kim's house. So this is a big kind of a week-long party. Like I said, people are home, everybody's there, people are staying. So the only thing is there is a gentleman there, a guy named Brad Winkler, who is a 23-year-old cousin of Jennifer, the bride, here, and he's a sergeant in the Marines.
Oh, shit.
Assigned to the Pentagon.
Oh!
So this is a dude with some posture.
Yeah.
If you're one of those Pentagon Marines, they make sure you stand up fucking straight.
Hell of a haircut.
Clean cut, posture happening. I assume.
He wore his dress whites for this.
Dick rigid at all times. Just ready for action.
Hell yeah.
So, I assume. So, apparently, Kimberly was smitten with this young man. she's older than him, and she's apparently a strapping, handsome young cat.
Fuck yeah.
And she's into him. So he was at all the events because he's there from out of town, or he works at the Pentagon, but he's there for the wedding in town. It's a holiday week, so they're all hanging out together. It's his family. So there was he started to get, over the course of the week, a little bit more and a little bit more, talking to Kim a little bit more. You'd see them kind of by themselves talking and all this sort of thing. Apparently everybody said they would kind of linger behind after all the other guests went home and they'll talk for a little bit longer and all that sort of shit here.
See that Marine dick.
Let's see it, boy.
Yeah.
At attention.
How's it look?
Attention, young man. Yeah, that's how it is. So
how's it salute?
That's what you need to do. You better treat me like a commanding fucking officer, mister. So Jesus Christ. So her friend Norma, who was also around here, she said she noticed, quote, Brad was ever present. So his name's even Brad, you know. So Kim, apparently at first they said that Norma overheard conversations. Kim was being a good listener, kind of like an older sister type of thing. He apparently had a bad marriage at this young age of 23. Brad did. And she said that one day they went and in the car, Norma, Kimberly were dropping Brad off somewhere, and Norma said that Brad spoke of a bad marriage and that he basically gave her his whole sob story about how he's sad and all
Brad's
that sort of
a coxman.
Yeah, Brad's gaming. He's laying it down for whoever.
He is.
He's laying it down for whoever will then take the path.
I salute you, Brad.
He said, I laid down the road. I don't know who's going to follow it, but I laid it down.
I'm fishing. I'm trolling.
It's yellow and it's brick. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm giving it a shot.
He's giving it a shot here. So apparently after he got out of the car, Kim said to her friend Norma here things like, oh, he's such a nice guy, and the girl who ends up getting him is going to be a lucky one, and shit like that. You know what I mean? Oh, boy, she's going to be a lucky one. Whatever. And, he's really nice and really sweet. It's too bad how that woman was so mean to him and all that type of shit. So she's kind of already being there. It's one of those things. And at the wedding, he's the only other guy at the wedding, except for Steven, or at the wedding shower there at Steve and Kim's house. Steven's there because it's his house, and Brad's the only other guy. So, Steve,
Brad's a genius.
Steve started noticing this, and Steve's not real thrilled about this thing, as you might imagine.
I'm a fat lawnmower, and they got this fucking Marine around here, trolling with his Marine cock,
with his flat top that's as short as my greens. He admired his flat top.
Stiffer than my fucking fairways.
It's stiffer than my 7th hole green. Damn you, Brad.
Son of a bitch.
So apparently Kim told Norma that Steve got a little pissed off and kind of was like, hey, who the fuck is this guy? What's he doing hanging around here? Because the party had left and he was still lingering around talking to Kim and all that. And he's going, who's this fucking guy hanging out here? That's what she'd be like, who's this one? Who does he fucking want?
What's with the biceps?
Hey.
Why is he here?
Hey.
What's with the fucking kill count on his belt?
Hey,
Get him
Pyle,
the fuck out of here.
what's going on here? It's this fucking guy in my kitchen.
Hey, Private, you want to fucking roll out?
What's happening here? Move him out, Private. Let's go.
Now they playing Reveille at 5 a.m. Get the fuck out of my house.
Motherfucker. Stepping. That's your rhythm.
How's
out
your
the
march,
fucking door,
Brad?
Yeah,
the fuck out of my house.
So Brad might be a fine young man, and
he might be great,
and a fine young Marine as well, I'm sure.
But you don't try to fuck my wife.
But if you're in my house, you're talking to my wife after the party's over. They're about playing that bugle.
Yeah,
it's time to hit the sack, I think.
Ain't there a cot with your name on it, Brad?
So.
God damn it.
We're going to be playing taps here pretty soon.
Someone's folding the flag in your honor, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's how it works. He's not real happy.
No.
So, so he said, it's a wedding shower. Why is he here? I'm here because it's my house. And so the next day, Kim was telling her friends, though, that Steve was a little jealous because Brad was hitting it. She tells her friends, though, that it wasn't that. She goes, oh, no. Why not me? He was jealous because Brad was hitting it off so well with our daughter. Like, he was playing with our daughter and having fun. It's like, nope.
That ain't it.
That's not it.
No.
Nope. He didn't try to diddle the kid. No one mentioned that. No one said, I don't like him. I don't like our daughter being nice to a person and liking him. That's not going to work. Nope, not that at all. So this happens through November into early December. Brad would, when Jennifer, after the wedding, went on her honeymoon, Brad volunteered to be the house sitter, and he would also babysit because Jennifer had a baby, so he would babysit for them all the time. So he was always over at Jennifer's house, and apparently Kim started going over on a daily basis to help Brad with the house chores and to give him child rearing pointers, on how to watch a baby and stuff. And I don't know.
Dumb Marine, and she's a mom.
Oh, me. I'm a guy. I don't know. I gave her a beer. The kid didn't like it. I don't know. I said, here's a beer and a can of Dinty Moore, and he just threw it down on the ground. I don't know what's going on with this fucking
Pizza
kid.
Pockets and Miller Lite, and he's not in.
I said Domino's numbers on the fridge on that Magnum with the crab with the shot glasses on it. I pinned it right to it.
I got jogging and push-ups to do.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, Jesus Christ here. So I got to get another haircut. What are we doing? So we're not making fun of Marines, by the way, at all. We're making fun of Brad in this particular situation.
Because a Marine with a child fucking fish out of water. That's not their thing.
I'm sure there's plenty of Marines who are great, but that's like an 80s movie premise. Right. It's not 3 men and a baby. We wouldn't even have needed 3 men if it was just a Marine and a baby. Right. That would have been the premise right there. Like,
that's 3 men.
That would be, just a Marine standing over a baby going, I told you not to poop yourself. Now give me 20.
Didn't I say it?
Stop flailing your legs now.
Stand up, pussy.
20. You are going to clean that latrine.
Yeah. Here's a toothbrush. Now go wash my piss.
Not going to work. It's not the same. So anyway, this all happened on a Friday night. This happened all over time. She's going over every day. On one Friday night, they started to make out.
Yeah.
Kim and Brad, as you knew this was going to happen. Of
course it is.
Yeah, she said so. This happened several times at Jen's townhouse there, Jennifer's townhouse, while they were on their honeymoon. And then after that, he lived at his aunt's house, and she would come over to his aunt's house and hook up with him over there.
They're sealing the deal now.
So,
now
they're hooking up. They're hooking up. That first night that they first started making out, and then they started hooking up.
Now they're fucking.
Now they're fucking big time.
A lot,
all the time, all over the place.
Fuck yeah.
Wherever they can, too. So apparently, Kim was just really into it. She would recklessly, meet up with him and shit like that. She telephoned Jennifer while Jennifer was on her honeymoon several times, saying that she was, about to fuck Brad. Like, I'm going to fuck Brad. It's like, that's nice. I'm about to fuck my husband because I just got married to him and we're on our honeymoon. So why don't?
Where's yours?
How many people have you called? I hope I wasn't first on the list while I'm on my honeymoon. I'm going to fuck your cousin. Great. Terrific.
That's your aunt's house.
Thanks. Oh, no, at your house now, in your bed. But once you get home, then I'll just move to your mom's house, probably.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah, it's shit's a little bit weird here. So, she said that she would say that she was going to have an affair with him. Then when Jennifer got back, Kim apparently informed her in lurid detail of the affair that was going on. Jennifer said, quote, she told me that they were having sex and that she was becoming more dissatisfied with her marriage to Steve. She told me that they met while I was on my honeymoon and at my house to have sex, and that she spent quite a lot of time with him while I was away. So she was telling him this. She was also telling her friend Norma, who lives in Washington, about the affair.
Across the country?
Listen, honey. Yeah.
Operator, put me on through to Tacoma, please. What the fuck is happening?
Tacoma 3156.
I'm fucking right now.
He's a Marine. You met him. He's wonderful.
He's inside me.
And she said, she said that he was very affectionate and that she really loved him. That's what she was telling her friend Norma. Then on New Year's Eve, they're at a restaurant in Laurel, and she tells her friend, another woman named Teresa, used to be her neighbor, that she's having an affair. Well, quote, an affair with her friend Jenny's cousin. His name name is Brad. Then in January, Kim meets up with Rachel McCoy, an old college friend who we brought up before, and then she tells her, by the way, I'm seeing someone else. I'm having an affair. She's not good at women. Guys wouldn't tell anybody.
No,
that's the one. No. Women will tell all their friends because their friends aren't going to tell Steve.
No,
you know what I mean?
They're like, go get it, girl.
Yeah, that's that's the fucking funny part.
Right?
So, yeah.
You guys will be like, are you out of your fucking mind?
23. Well, I understand.
23 and a Marine.
Meanwhile, if a guy said that she's 23, she's a stripper, we'd be like, I don't know, dude. That's gonna fuck you all up, bro. That's what we'd say. I would not encourage that behavior. I'd be like, bro, that's not gonna work out. What would I say to you if you came to me with that information? Like, you out of your fucking mind?
Oh, my God.
Not that there's anything wrong with me, but
no, you'd be like, dude, I'm sure it's great for 10 minutes a night.
For 15 years, she's in a different place.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? It's just not going to work.
You got kids, Jimmy.
Yeah. A stripper, I think, is the physical equivalent to Marine as far as a male and female. That's why I said that, not to pick on strippers. That was literally to say Marine, strippers.
It's lateral, babe.
That's what,
yes.
That's what.
It's fucking hot for a minute, and then it's like, this is a fucking terrible idea.
That's the thing here. She tells that she does tell her friend Rachel, though, quote, I'm not going to marry this guy. This is just about sex. So she's
samesies, yeah. That would be the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
What would you say to me, dude? I'm not going to marry her. I'm just hooking up. We're just having some fun.
She's got a stage name.
She's just
going to be all right.
She uses it every day too. She orders Starbucks. That's what she gives the barista. That's what they write on the cup.
Raven caramel macchiato.
They wrote it on the cup, James.
R-A-V-E-N.
It's so weird. She spells it with an I. R-A-V-I-N. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Kim said she doesn't want to marry this guy, but she does definitely want to get out of her marriage here. Right. She also, in a little desperate thing here, she has a conversation with a coworker named Kenneth Burgess, who was another surgical technologist at Holy Cross, and they started work about the same time in '95. He earlier, by the way, had been convicted of welfare fraud in Virginia. I don't know why they even bothered to put this in the court documents. What they do. So
that's interesting.
Sorry, Kenneth. I don't know what happened. He looks like he got his life together and became a surgical technologist after that.
That welfare fraud.
Yeah. But that's what it says in the court doc. It's public information. It's not my fault. So
sometimes you get free.
Sorry, Maryland. I don't know what to say.
Sometimes you get free groceries.
It happens. So, he says that sometime during December of '97, when she was hooking up hot and heavy with Brad here, this guy said he was standing in the back of the hall just outside the woman's locker room in the hospital here. As his back was turned to her, Kim said, Ken, I want to talk to you. And he said, without warning, she blurted out that she wanted him, Ken, to kill her husband. He turned around, said, thinking it was a joke, like, yeah, right, like, what are you talking about? And then when he turned around, he saw that she was not kidding at all. She's dead serious. And he said, I'm not going to kill your fucking husband.
I stole Wick stamps.
Are you crazy?
Out of your fucking mind?
I don't know if that's what she thought.
Am I the most hardened criminal you've ever met?
He's got a record. He knows people. He knows where to get
a couple of T-bone steaks. He knows. You want to murder a man?
What is happening here? He knows how to sell some food stamps for $8
for a profit.
Like he'll kill my husband. No.
Hey, you badass food stamps thief.
No, he was like, I don't think so. He said, listen. And he tried to, counsel her, listen, we've all had problems in our marriage. Right. There's, peaks and valleys, and you work through this, and maybe 6 months from now, you get a little counseling. And what I mean? You got that out of your system. Right. Perfect. She, though, after all this, he said, I get what you're saying. We've all felt like that. I think he tried to play it like that, like who hasn't felt like that's the only way out? But I mean, obviously, we're civilized people. That's not the only way out.
Call your lawyer.
And she said, okay. She nodded through all this and then said, well, do you know anybody that would kill my husband? That was her answer to all of his convincing. Well, if you won't do it, will anybody? Didn't hear a word of that. Just waited till he stopped.
Aren't you fucking a government-trained assassin? What are you talking about?
She said, $50,000? Would that sweeten the deal any? Anybody kill my husband for $50,000? Just let you know, if you know anyone who might, he's not like This man isn't like a high-level cocaine dealer or something like a street he's a fucking surgical technologist at a hospital.
Not a murder broker.
Not a murder broker. It's weird. He's done very few murder brokers working that day. It was hard. So he went
50 grand sweeten the pot?
She said it's Sunday. All the murder brokers are closed. I'll ask him if he can do it. What
is happening?
Ken once again said, I don't know. I don't want to be involved. I don't know anybody who's going to kill your husband. I'm certainly not going to kill your husband. I don't think you should kill your husband. Right. Just legally, whatever I have to say to not be involved in this, I'm saying right now. Urged her to just don't kill your husband and don't involve me. Kimberly then said, you know what? Just forget I ever said anything. And tell you what, also, don't tell anybody else that we talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easiest thing I've ever forgotten.
No problem. Right. Never want to bring it up again. That would be my problem. What now?
Can we never talk about this?
Wow. This is why you don't talk to people.
I won't talk about this until the police come to me.
This is the thing. You make friends. Everything's all casual and nice and everybody's happy. And then out of nowhere one day, you're minding your fucking business and they're like, will you kill my husband? What? This is why you don't get close to people.
Are you saying this is why you don't have friends?
This is why I have few friends, because I don't want this to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That's unbelievable.
Eventually. So I don't want to be a part of that. I just don't want to be a part of it. I feel it's
the greatest excuse
very
to never talk to anybody. Listen, I'd love to have a chat with you,
but
eventually I'm going to know that you killed your family.
Look what's happening. It's happening right now. It's proving my point, Jimmy. These are the people I see every day, or I read about.
You say hi to me? Don't talk to me? You're going to kill your family.
I don't want to kill you. No, I'm not killing your family. Guy asked me to kill his fucking family. I mean, he said hi.
He said hi.
I know what he meant.
Tom, but I know what
he meant.
I read between the lines.
I can see. I know what's up. That means, can you kill my family? Fucking dick. He's full of shit.
Unbelievable.
So he said no. He said definitely not. He said, whatever. And then after a while, he said you should. She said, don't forget we ever had the conversation. So then he was trying to joke about it. So it would be like, hey, you don't really mean that type of thing. Like if you joke about hey, you might as well just, shit, run him down with your car and joking around.
She's like, didn't I tell you to fucking forget about that?
Well, he said as a joke, he said as he made the remark as when he still thought she was kidding, he goes, you work in the operating room. You could just put him to sleep. He was like, what do you need an assassin for? Ha ha, buddy. Isn't that funny? And she went, mm-hmm.
Good point.
All right. And then walked out. She just nodded her head. All right. And then just left. He was like, not the reaction I expected. That wasn't. There was no there's nothing good-natured about that. So he said, yeah, we don't know if that what ended up happening, but she ended up, she would tell anyone that would listen about her affairs, and I want to leave my husband, and I'm angry at him, and I'm fucking this one, and anybody. New Year's Eve again, she's talking to Teresa. She said that she's very angry and upset at her relationship. She said that she was going to ask him for a divorce very soon, and she's very upset. She was very agitated on New Year's Eve, and she told her friend she's so out of her mind that she wants a divorce, but she's so upset she's even been trying to think of ways to kill him. That's how upset she is. So Teresa, her friend, at one point said, well, what would you get out of that? What would be the reason to do that? How would that help? And she said that Kim's response was, she says, quote, she said, well, the insurance money, so her and Anna can live their life the way they wanted, and that she, and the way that she wanted to live her life. And so this other woman, her friend, said that, that's not probably a good idea.
No.
She said that recently, as the sole beneficiary from two separate life insurance policies, Kim would stand to receive as much as $450,000. So she's telling her friend, I get $450,000.
That seems low.
It's not like she doesn't have a job.
Yeah, but
if you make a good living and you got $450,000 in the bank to pick off of, that's a nice nest egg.
I don't know if you get
not
a divorce.
Not worth killing a fucking husband over.
If you get a divorce, you probably get, $250,000. probably be okay.
As I'm getting at, none of this is worth killing anyone over, is what I'm getting at.
This is pennies compared to fucking what the responsibility of is that.
Yeah, a divorce is an inconvenience. It's like a 2-year-long inconvenience. That's
it's a nightmare.
That you got to do.
Sucks.
You get over it, and you get through it, and then once it's over, like I've always said,
worth it.
there is nothing better than a good divorce. Nothing feels better than a good divorce. I'm telling you, it is glorious. It's glorious.
It really
a good divorce,
a good one,
meaning it needed to happen. It should have happened, and it's done. You're like, fucking bang.
We did it.
It's the best.
I'll fucking high five you, sugar.
It's the greatest.
We need it.
So, Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
Another friend of hers here, this Jennifer Gowan, the one we talked about, the wedding, the one that had the wedding, and the one who
she was the best woman.
She was
best
banging
woman?
Brad.
What is it?
Yeah, maid of honor.
That's
I was saying that earlier. Best woman. She said she shared what Jennifer called quite a lot of intimate details about their contact and intimate contact and with Brad and about how, quote, very happy she was about what was going on with Brad. Kim also says that since November, she had sex with Steve only once and that it made her want to throw up. So this is, that sort of thing. So
that's something you keep to yourself.
That's what I mean.
Jesus.
So, but women are brutally honest with their friends, unfortunately, seems like. So.
I don't want to be that guy.
I don't want my friends telling me that shit at all.
I swear to God, if I'm that guy for anybody.
If one of my guy friends has been like, I only banged my wife like once in the last 3 months, it made me fucking throw up, I'd be like, don't tell me that.
Why
are you telling me that?
No.
That is your private information.
But if I'm that
guy.
We're
gross, but we don't want to know your personal information.
But if I'm that guy that any woman ever told her friends, oh, God,
that's
Jesus.
Terrible. Yeah.
I'll open my cock and bleed out. Fuck a vein.
Fuck a vein. Just down on his
I'll
knees.
take a Viagra so that it just keeps pumping blood out of it.
Down on his knees, hands in the air like Willem Dafoe in Platoon right before he's shot down as the fucking helicopter leaves. And,
I'd rather.
Fucking squibs.
I don't want to be that guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So this guy says that, or she says that, they talk about it. She keeps talking about her intimate contact with her cousin Brad. The whole thing's a fucking mess. She wants to throw up after having sex with Steve. Also, she talks more to Jennifer and says that she's interested in getting a divorce from Steve, that she would like to kill him. They talk about one obvious, Kimberly points out in a conversation, one obvious disadvantage to traveling the divorce route would be that Stephen might try to get custody of Anna, the daughter, or at best, he's just going to try to turn Anna against me. Rather than just, maybe we can get along and be civilized human beings. Obviously, he's going to do something terrible to me. So then Kim said, look, Steve is going to be better off dead. That was her next logic to her friend. She said, because we talked about divorce. We've talked about divorce before. And, he was very sad when we talked about divorce. And he said that he would be nothing without me and Anna. And if they got, if they got a divorce, he would just be crushed. So, she also said outside of our marriage, he really doesn't have any other life. She said it's really just our family that he pays attention to. Otherwise, he doesn't really have a lot of friends or things to do. So she said, honestly, he'll be better off dead. If we leave him, he'll just be this lonely guy who's going to sit there and rot like a stump, But if I kill him, it's the humanitarian thing to do, basically. I'm doing it for his own good, Jimmy.
Wow.
Obviously, Right? That makes sense.
The most endangered human being on earth is the person who's in love that is not in love back.
Yeah, well,
that is fucking frightening.
That's scary shit.
That's a man that's just saying, "Look, I don't want anything else but you." And
I
she's
just like
"I
my
want
family.
anything but you."
I like my family. Well, I'll have to kill him. He really loves his daughter. He's going to have to die, obviously. So, another thing, she said that it would be. She said if we get divorced, I can't tell him about Brad because maybe he's going to get depressed and angry enough to kill himself. And if he kills himself, then there won't be any insurance money because on suicide doesn't pay off on this particular policy. So she's like, what if I tell him about this? He's going to be so depressed, he's going to kill himself. No. Okay. Either way, he's going to die. Yeah. Okay. He's going to be dead. Yeah. Either I kill him and put him out of his misery and collect insurance money and his daughter grows up comfortable, or else he kills himself and nobody gets anything out of this. If he's got to die, someone might as well get paid for it.
Kim's making a lot of sense.
Jesus, it's very practical. Very practical.
Has Kim been drinking? Because I've been drinking.
Kim's had a lot of wine. She's had 3 empty boxes of wine tipped over there. Just a goddamn disaster, man. So apparently after a while, Kim started getting a little bit more detailed about this. Her friend said, in a way in which she would actually kill Steve. It's at this point she made her first mention of sustenolcholine. I guess. I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Drug. It's a long drug title, here. And, we'll discuss what that is in a little bit here. But she said they had a discussion about a case history where a woman had injected some children with this drug and that it was a muscle relaxing anesthesia agent that would go untraced. It goes away. It dissipates in your body in a few minutes if you get it with a proper dose. Yeah. And so it was a conversation that they had together. Jennifer also said that this sustenolcholine was something regularly used by anesthesiologists in the operating room, and that both she and Kim had ready access to it. Mm-hmm. And Kim was in charge of throwing out the unused portion of it. So she's got definite access to it. And it's very easily, she was asked later, you'd have easy access. She said, very easy access. It's right there. You could just take it. So she said Kimberly would go to her friends for like moral support on this. Like, so I'm going to kill my husband. They're like, I don't think that's a good idea. No one's backing you up on that. Everyone's like, listen, girl, I get it. Like, your friends even would be like, no, it's...
Nobody said to her, why divorce is so expensive? Nobody said that to her?
Great.
Yeah, because it's worth it.
Yeah,
right.
That's why.
Nobody said that to her yet?
Yeah, she said she would seek reassurance and just need Jennifer to be there for her. She said that her brother, Kim told Jennifer that her brother was someone who supported her, and he said that he would even support her if she killed someone, and she was asking for her support. If I kill Steven, you got my back on this one? She said she used those words many times. She said, not directly, if I kill Steven, will you support me? But she was like, that's what she was getting at. That was the gist. She also said sometime in January, Kim told Jennifer, quote, if I could kill Steve and get away with it, I would do it tomorrow. So that's all she keeps bringing up. If it comes up more than once, it's a problem. Yeah. Like once joking around or something, but after that, it's like, okay, you're
fascinated with this.
You seem to be a little bit too into it here. So January 30th, 1998, about 7:30, she talks to her friend of hers, Rachel McCoy. As we know, she lives in Baltimore. It's her college friend. Rachel said she went out to dinner with a friend, and then she got back to her house, Rachel's house, at 9:30 p.m., and there was 5 or 6 progressively more frantic messages from Kim on her answering machine. Mm-hmm. She said at this point, she said, quote, they were gradually sounding more panicky, and they just said, call me as soon as you get in. I really need to talk to you. Please call me. Please call me. I really need to talk to you. Call me. Just over and over again. So she said right away, she called. This would be my thing. Well, I'm not calling her tonight. Jesus Christ. She sounds like...
Fuck that.
Not my job. Hopefully she figured someone else to talk to by now. Because it's been a couple hours, so I'm sure she's figured out someone else to talk to.
Her mom.
What's on Netflix? That's we're on a different thing here. So different wavelength. So she calls Kimberly immediately, who Kimberly says, please come down here. Come to my house as soon as you can. She said, quote, Rachel, you need to come down here now. I need you. Do you remember when I saved you in State College? I need you. You have to come here now. And so Rachel was like, all right, then let the dog out. Give me 15 minutes and I'll be on my way. So Rachel gets there at about between 11 and 11:30 at night. Kim had been drinking and was very distraught and very drunk. Yeah. And Rachel said, quote, she said she was talking more about how it would be easier if Steve were just dead. And she told me that she had a plan on how to do it and where she wouldn't get caught. She says she told me that she could get a drug that would paralyze Steve, that would stop his breathing, and then she would set the curtains on fire with a candle or a cigar, and that he would die of smoke inhalation in a fire, and that nobody would ever know.
Jesus Christ.
That's her plan. Yeah.
That is fucking... Don't
diabolical?
You have a gun?
Yeah, that is Jesus, fucking horrific.
My God.
Well, she's not trying to minimize suffering. She's trying to get away with it. That's the difference. And it's funny because... Not funny, but the homicide David Simon book, they talk about, the easiest and the hardest homicides to investigate. The one thing that the cops never want to hear is a body that's been in a fire. Because that's fucking impossible.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. The evidence is literally burned up. Right. It's a fucking disaster. Even evidence of a fire, but it could have been. It's so hard to prove that someone intentionally set a fire, and it's very difficult to prove arson and shit like that. So it's not a bad plan, I guess. Rachel said she tried to talk her out of it. Listen, you're drunk.
That's a bad plan.
That's, psycho is what you just did. What you said is off the fucking rails, next level psycho.
You just told me you want to burn your husband alive.
Right. Well, he'll die of smoke inhalation first, then he'll burn. So it's really not burning alive. She then said that she tried to poke holes in the story about hey, then this is going to happen. They're going to know you did it like this. And she said that Kimberly, quote, had answers for everything.
What about you just told your fucking friend?
How about you told me? Yeah.
They asked me a thing and I'm singing.
Well, then she's going to be in that fire too. I think she's a little scared of her friend at this point. If your friend's talking about seriously murder, I think they're capable of anything at that point.
How many other people have you told this to?
That's what I would. That's a good question. Rachel says just get a divorce, man. Even though she's like, please, what do you think? You're talking about drugging him and setting the broom on fire and burning him. This is crazy.
You're out of your mind.
Get a fucking divorce. Right. What is wrong with you?
How great is Marine cock? Jesus.
She doesn't even want to marry this guy. No. It's not even what it's about. She just wants rid of him so badly.
It was just so much better.
And then also gets a Marine cock. She said that she kept bringing it up. Why don't you just get a divorce? And she said Kim was just not having it. She said that this is easier. I'm not doing it. This is way easier.
Oh, boy.
So Rachel said, what about Anna?
Yes.
Anna loves her father.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something she pulled out. What about it? It's going to hurt Anna. If her father's gone, and, that's going to do that. And, she needs a father. And Jesus Christ. What Kim's response was, Anna will be better off without her father.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Why?
She's far too into this.
She's just going to be better off without her father. I don't think that's...
There's no talking.
You're not better off with either of your parents dead, unless they are molesting you or doing something terrible to you. You're not better off without
unless they are to your detriment. You're never better off.
Very much to your detriment. Physical, horrible detriment. Yeah.
And progress of life.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. So at this point, Rachel said she kept telling her, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to do this. She even said, what if your house burns to the ground? You just bought this house. You're going to burn it down. What if your neighbor's house catches on fire? You're going to burn innocent people up in their own home. You can't do this. You can't just set fires. And she said, quote, she told me the house wouldn't burn down because there's always neighbors up in that neighborhood and they would see the fire before the house burned and call the fire department. It's like, listen, these fucking neighbors are nosy. They'll call the fire department. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Okay. So Rachel said, can you get a drug like that? Mm-hmm. And she said, oh yeah. She said, quote, she told me that she could get the drug at work very easily and that it was in every hallway or every OR and that they used it for trauma victims to stop their breathing so they could put a tube in their throat to put oxygen in them. So that was it right there. That's what she was saying. So she said, also told Rachel that she didn't think this drug was traceable in his blood and that she would just inject it into the muscle. That was her plan. She's got a whole fucking plan. She said she hung out there till about 1:30 in the morning. Rachel did that night, basically to make sure she didn't kill her husband and set the house on fire then, because that's a bad look. So she said at about 1:30 Kim went upstairs to use the bathroom but didn't come back right away, so Rachel went upstairs to be like, what's going on? And she said she found Kim standing in the bedroom where Steve was asleep. So she's like, huh?
Oh my God, are you doing it now?
She said that Rachel said she didn't even know that Steven was home that night. She didn't even know he was up there this whole time.
We've had this whole conversation while he's asleep. Just a few hundred yards away?
Not even 100 yards.
A couple of feet.
2,000 square foot house, maybe, not even. Rachel says, quote, Steve was sleeping on the opposite side of the bed and was just standing there. And she was just standing there, staring on the other side, staring at him with her arms down at her sides, just standing there. And I told her to come back downstairs. She said that she got Kim back downstairs. She calmed her down. She got Kim to stop crying, and she persuaded her she needs to get her shit together and go to bed and get some rest.
Yeah.
Your head's all fucked up. You're drinking. Go lay down and relax here. So she said a few minutes later, Kim went upstairs and went to sleep. Rachel said she waited about 20 minutes just to make sure that she didn't go upstairs to kill her husband. Instead, she said she left for Baltimore about 2 a.m. and called Kim the next morning. And, she said, quote, I asked her what she was if she was really going to do this. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to do, Rachel. So... That was the last time she talked to her for a while. Over the next 2 weeks, there is they go to some counseling a little bit. She told that her friend Teresa how Stephen was going to counseling on his own, and he was making an effort to be more affectionate and more communicative, and he's trying because that's what his therapist told him to do. So he's doing all he can. She told her friend that she had talked to Steve about a divorce in January, and that Steve immediately went to therapy and made a lot of effort on his part. She even said one day he wrote her a beautiful, what she called a beautiful, lovely letter that she read to me over the phone, and it was beautiful, and Steve was going to counseling. He's really trying. He
doesn't know it, but he's saving his own life at this moment.
That's what I mean. She tries. She's making a red flag, and he's saying, "Oh fuck, my bad." Right. Like the first time it was brought up, he said, "I'll go to counseling. I'll do this. There's letters and things."
Pen to paper. You're amazing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, holy shit, I didn't realize it. You know, it happens to people. You take people for granted. So she also said that she said, "So are things better now?" And Kim said, "Quote: He makes me sick to my stomach."
Oh, he's gonna die.
So this poor guy, nothing there. She said, quote, "We talked about he had starting to go see a counselor and that he was talking more, being more outgoing, like in their relationship, but he was talking to her all the time, and that was driving her crazy. Now she doesn't want him to talk to her. He wanted to talk to her all the time and talk about their feelings, and she wasn't interested in that. She wanted to go fuck a Marine. It's a different feeling. I want to talk about my feelings. I want Marine cock. It's just different.
Out.
Yeah, it's a different deal. So, Stephen had gone into counseling at her suggestion in order to turn himself around, is what she was telling her friends. She said that Steve begged for a second chance when she brought up a divorce, and she said that he had even canceled a business trip so he could go see the counselor and go to a doctor to get a referral to a counselor to start right away. Like, that's how. As soon as she said it, that Monday, he canceled his business trip, was all just wanted to be only interested in this. Like she said, he's only interested in me and the kid. What a terrible guy.
What a dick.
What an awful person. She said she gave him this week. She said she was going to give him a week to see if he could get in to see a doctor and at least show that he was trying to turn himself around. And then she said after that, quote, "He's smothering me and following me around the house like a puppy dog."
Yeah.
You just asked him to communicate more.
Right.
Now you're mad that he's talking to you.
You just told the man, save your marriage, and he is fucking desperate to save his marriage.
Yeah, she's telling her friends that she, this is an exercise in futility, she called it. She said the whole thing's ridiculous. It makes her sick. He's suffocating her. She told her friend Jennifer. He comes up and cuddles with her, and she feels like she can't breathe, and she just wants away from him. He's always wanting to know where she's going and what she's doing.
Yeah.
And and he'll also like call her,
Oh boy.
And he'll just say, "I'm just calling to say hi."
Yeah.
She's like,
"Oh God, I love that.
Leave me alone." That's her thing here.
You fucking jerk.
So then Valentine's Day weekend comes around. So this is Steven's big plan.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks,
fucking
he's been going to counseling. He's been writing letters.
Let's
he's talking,
do it.
"Can you get me this thing?" He's got a cottage over the river.
Fuck yeah.
I'm trying my best here.
I'm KY. Let's get to town.
I don't care. Even if you're not, if it's a slow night for you, we could work it out.
Yeah.
So it says,
Listen, you don't even have to try hard. I will.
Yeah, it's all right. So he said that, he was looking to go somewhere, plan this romantic evening. Steve was enthusiastic. He said, "Look, I did all this and blah, blah, blah." And Kim she was like, "All right, fine. I'll go to this shit," basically.
It's over for Kim.
Yeah.
She's checked out.
The Brad was out of town that weekend, too. He's got an official assignment. He's not in town. So she's like, whatever. I guess I'll go away with my husband. So, Stephen, in his journal on February 9th, he said this, quote, "Life at home is improving, and I'm looking forward to Valentine's weekend at Harbor Town with Kim. She called twice today and said, 'I love you,' without my saying it first. I was very happy. Kim and I have not made love yet, and I want to, but I will wait as long as it takes. I love her. I believe I know what being in love really is. We've been married 9 years, but I feel like we just started dating."
God,
that's what he said.
Damn it, Steve.
He's trying so hard, Steve. Poor Stephen. So, on February 13th, before they go to St. Michael's, Kim, on the other hand, made a trip to Brad's house to bang him in his aunt's spare bedroom.
Oh, Jesus.
She said she wanted to leave her Valentine's Day gifts for him as well, and she did. She bought
him gifts.
Oh, gifts. Oh, and a note. And the note reads, quote, Brad, he wasn't there. I'm sorry. He was off. Quote, Brad, I really wanted to give you these gifts in person, but I guess the Pentagon had a different idea. Yeah, they're, it's weird. The Pentagon, they don't, national security matters. They don't seem to really care what your plans for that night are. It's a weird thing. I'm so proud of what you do, and so I'll just go on missing you. Have a nice weekend at home, baby. I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you so very much. Hugs and kisses, Kim. Okay. That is the 13th. That's the night before they go to St. Michael's here. She tells her friend Stephen made plans to go see a resort and see a play, and they were going, and she said she was not looking forward to it. So they arrive February 14th at Harbor Town in St. Michael's about 3 p.m. and they check into cottage 506. Okay. After their arrival, they get a bottle of champagne. Hey, it's one of those type of things. It's romantic weekend. Yeah. Hey, bottle of champagne. All right. They get there about 7 p.m. They go down to the dining room for the dinner theater production of The Bride Who Cried. Okay. Yeah.
Jesus.
The Bride Who Cried.
The fucking dagger in his heart.
Yeah, the guy who, Henry Dove, who played the detective that evening, he says that, there was about 170 guests who attended, this performance, The Bride Who Cried. It's a mock wedding and then the groom in the middle of the toast drops dead from poisoned champagne. That's the storyline. Okay. He said, quote, it was one of the better ones we've done because of the high degree of audience participation. So he's really into it. He also says among the people most actively participating is Kim. She is all over this shit.
She's like pointing in the groom's face as he falls.
She's
Die,
like, what about him? And she's like
motherfucker.
trying to organize the whole thing. And yeah, they said she even went as far as to follow the actors carrying the corpse from the ballroom. Like they said they had to call, like, you can't go there. But she was like, I'll investigate this.
Oh my God.
Which is weird. Like, we got to carry him away. And she's like, I'll go see where they're going. The guy said, quote, it was kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Is he really dead? How much did it take?
Yeah. What did you do? How'd you kill him? Champagne, you say, huh? I have a bottle of champagne. So they left the dinner theater between 10 and 10:30 to go back to their cottage. Kim walked to the lobby of the resort here. We'll talk about this in a second, in a minute here. They go back 10 to 10:30. Kim, some time goes by. About 1:20 a.m., Kim walks into the lobby of the resort alone and calmly announces that her room is on fire. Okay. That was it. There was a 3-hour gap here, between that time they were seen by people and this happens. She goes to see Elaine Phillips, who's the banquet manager. She's the night duty manager here. She gets the report. Okay. They said that the way she was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
She just walked in. She said that this person said it was very inappropriate. Her behavior was very inappropriate. They said normal people, obviously, if they realized their husband is trapped in a burning hotel room, might have some franticness, some urgency.
Freaking the fuck out.
Apparently she just, plus there's 5 or 6 other units attached to this too. So,
Well, yeah, somebody else might be in
all
there.
of them are occupied.
Right.
So, it's one of those things where you would think that people would be, scared. She would be scared of this, but she didn't. She said that the way she described it, there was neither excitement nor even indication that her husband was still inside the burning room. She said, quote, a woman walked into the lobby. She had a cell phone up to her ear. It was turned upside down. She was just listening to it. She walked over to us, my cousin and me. This is the night manager here. She said, I need to speak to someone who works here. My cousin, who was about a step ahead of me, kind of directed her to me. I asked her, may I help you? And she said, yeah, my room's on fire. Not, holy shit, place is on fire. She came in. Can I talk to who's in charge here? Yeah, my fucking room's like her air conditioner broke.
Why are you looking for somebody that works there? How about any fucking body at all?
My sink's clogged up is what she just said.
You're holding a cell phone.
My room's on fire.
Call 911.
They said, well, we immediately began to ask her room number and where is her room, and she wasn't answering. She was just being silent. They're like, what room are you in? And she's just like,
oh,
whatever.
My God.
They said, well, what is your name? And she said, Rico. And they said, I knew that was an odd spelling of the name, so I spelled it out to the night auditor, and he gave me the room number 506, and I called 911. I was on the phone to 911 when my cousin was questioning her. Is she all right? Is everything okay? And she said, yeah, everything's fine. Finally, they said, is there anyone else in the room? And she said, yeah, my husband. Not, my husband's trapped in a burning room. Oh, my God. That's how you do that.
What a fucking lunatic.
Oh, no.
Right.
Holy arms waving.
Right.
I see this phone. It's connected to 911 because it's the first person I called because there's a fucking giant fire that my husband. Yeah, no, that's not how that works here. She said she said there was this woman said there was no evidence that she was upset. She seemed a little agitated, but not upset. She just said there's a fire in my room. She said we were way more excited than she was about it, basically, like everybody there. The other person who was there was a guy named Philip Parker. He said, I guess outside, he said when she pulled up, he said, quote, we noticed a car pull up to the front of the lobby. We noticed a young lady get out of the car and walk to the lobby of the hotel. She didn't screech to a halt and dash in the lobby with the lights on and the motor running. I noticed that when the car came up, the ignition was turned off. The car was parked. The lights were turned off. Everything was calm. She got out, slowly walked in and just was like, room's on fire. Husband in there. Yeah, sure. That was it. They said she seemed a little bit agitated, but that's about all. What?
That's bananas.
Yeah. So this guy says about the manager, quote, Elaine kind of got a little upset herself and tried to find out what room she was in. She stated that she didn't know what room she was in. She then told Elaine what her last name was. Elaine went to the books. By this time, my mom had come out of the coat room. At the beginning of this, she had walked out of the coat room. She was already behind the desk and they looked into the record, I guess, to find out what room she was staying at. At this time, too, I don't remember if it was me, Tracy, or Elaine, but someone had asked her if there was anybody else in the room that was on fire. And she said she thought her husband could be in there, which is very, very, very fucking odd.
Yeah.
So he said she was really, it was pretty calm. She said when she walked in, she mentioned nothing about the fire. She said, she didn't say fire. Right. Who works here? She just
said, can I speak to somebody who works here?
She asked for an employee, and then she said the whole thing was just very calm. She said after they checked the register and went there, they went across the parking lot toward cottage 506, and it's like I said, 5 or 6 cottage hotel rooms, 6 of them. The door on cottage 506, which was on a porch shared with 404 and 504 and 505, was locked. So this woman stood there, I guess. Her primary response, this is what the first thing Kim said. Okay. She stood outside. This is weird. She stood outside. They're about to open the door, and Kim says, I want to go see his body. That's what she says, which is weird. They thought it was very strange. That's why would she want to do that? Why would she know anything?
Also, who knows that he's dead?
That's the other thing. Could be
what
in
if
there
he got out?
Yeah, who knows? What if he's laying in the bathtub right now?
What if he's in what if he's in 503 banging the shit out of your
thing.
Brad?
You don't know. Maybe Brad's, that's
you
where
don't
Brad
know what's
was.
happening.
Oh, Brad, you fucking...
you scumbag.
Oh,
Brad.
you lecherous bastard, Brad. So, so this Philip Parker, he ran around the back porch and looked through the glass door. There was full of smoke in room 506. He was able to open the glass door. From there, he said he saw human feet and legs. He crawled into the smoke-filled room and found Stephen lying on his back between the 2 twin beds, like on the floor in the middle of that. So he says Elaine Phillips helped him, and they were able to pull him out to the porch, and he's already dead. Yeah. Stephen's dead out there. He's dressed in a dressed in a t-shirt, pajamas, and was badly burned from the mid-chest upward, including his left arm. Very, very badly burned. So his left arm seemed to be, they said his left arm was upraised and was like the most burnt part of him there, which is interesting. They said that, they went through all the times. Police come in. They have a black lab here who's supposed to sniff for shit like explosives and accelerants in a fire. And the dog sat down near where Steve had been found and gave the signal that he detected an accelerant, which is the dogs are pretty good at that, and it's not too shabby. So the lab, they don't confirm what they found, but it was possible that it was a light accelerant, something like a cigarette lighter fluid, which evaporates very quickly, anything that's not burned away. But the dog would have still been able to smell it.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't have been able to be traced, but the dog would still get a whiff of it there in the air. So they said, based on the weirdness of her behavior, based on the dog with the accelerant, they're like, well, this is a little shady. This doesn't look like an accident. So they started talking to people. They found out Steve was described as kind, quiet, deeply in love with his wife, dedicated to his daughter. She was a social butterfly and all that kind of shit, whatever. So they need a story out of Kim. Kim, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah.
Why were you not burning in the room? What's going on here?
Where the fuck is Brad?
Where were you for 3 hours, basically, Kim? What's going on? Now, she says she went to talk to the police. She didn't give a statement until later. Okay. Yeah. She goes in the company of a priest she brings with her, not a lawyer, a priest, at approximately 2:30 a.m. Okay. And she gives another statement at about 5 a.m. This here. She tells the troopers that they left the dinner theater. She and Stephen had purchased 4 bottles of beer from the hotel bar and gone back to their room. She said they watched the end of Tommy Boy, the David Spade, Chris Farley movie, and then they were watching the late evening news, and they said they had a deal that they weren't gonna have sex on this getaway. And even Stephen said that in his...
It's a deal?
That was a deal. Like this was to work on their whatever. That's why they have 2 twin beds.
It's a bad fucking deal.
It's very weird. Maybe let it happen and have a good time.
Listen,
but maybe that's what you need to that
You're
whatever.
Warmed up. Sit on this.
Yeah. So instead, they're supposed to. But she said that he began pressuring her for sex, and an argument ensued over that, and that lasted for 10 minutes. And she said she didn't want to argue anymore, so she grabbed her purse and car keys and took off. Okay. She left the resort and drove toward Easton to visit Mike and Maureen Miller in the middle of her Valentine's Day getaway. She said she got lost, though, and had to stop and ask several people for directions. This is 1998. This is pre-GPS on your phone and in your car. So that makes sense.
Point. You still got the snake game on there.
Yeah, you're printing out MapQuest directions or, Yahoo Maps back then or whatever the fuck.
The most entertainment you've got on your phone is that legitimate snake game.
That's
the most fucking obnoxious thing.
And that was borderline in 99.
Right.
Yeah, or 98. She said that she wasn't familiar with Easton and couldn't find the Miller's house. So she said that she couldn't even find Route 50, and then finally just abandoned the whole thing and had to ask for directions to get back to St. Michael's. And she got back to Harbor Town at about little after 1 a.m.
Yeah.
She said at that point she discovered that she forgot to take the key with her. The key card for 506. The door was locked, so she walked around to the deck area of the back room because she knew it was a sliding glass door, and so she figured it would have been open a little bit earlier. And she said she pushed it a little bit further open because it wasn't locked, and she was met by the wall of thick smoke just pouring out. She said she reached inside to feel for a light switch. It's so much smoke. Too overwhelming.
Yeah.
She couldn't feel a light switch. So she ran from the unit and began knocking on a number of other doors and screaming for help, but received no responses. By the way, no one received any knocks or any screaming. Okay. No one heard shit. That never happened. She then said she jumped into the car, drove to the main lobby, using her cell phone to call 911 along the way. Then when she got to the lobby, she told Elaine Phillips the room was on fire and, all of that sort of shit here. Now, the cops look at this as less exculpatory and more inculpatory. They're like, you're just putting yourself into shit, basically. Right. She's trying to set up alibis and things like that and all sorts of shit, but it doesn't really work out like that. First of all, they said she's not going to get lost for 2 hours. Maybe she's going to get lost not for 2 hours.
When you're
a lot of loss.
On a getaway with your husband? That's a long time to be.
Yeah. Easton is no more than a 15-minute drive from St. Michael's.
2 hours.
2 hours is a bit much for getting lost. 2 hours could have seemed... In Maryland, you could drive around the whole fucking state in 2 hours if it's the middle of the night and there's no traffic. It's a small state. They said that, she had driven herself there, too, to the home of Mike and Maureen about 10 weeks earlier, no problem. So now she doesn't know where it is all of a sudden. Right. She's not, she hasn't been hitting the head or anything. Kimberly's brother Michael also lives in Easton, 2 blocks away from the Millers. She's been there plenty. She's very close with her brother Michael. Remember, her brother said he'd forgive her if she killed somebody. It was Michael who she asked call. She said that she called Michael and got directions and drove to Harbor Town and all that sort of shit. So
she may as well be the mayor at this point, knowing her way around.
That's the thing. Yeah. So she also, why not? Or she didn't. I'm sorry, she didn't call Michael. They're saying, why didn't you? They ask her, why didn't you call Michael? Michael knows the area, and Kimberly and she knew she had a cell phone with her. She used it at 1:20 a.m. when she called 911. Also, she knew the Miller's number by heart. She could have called them because when the troopers asked for their number, they said she produced it by heart, no problem. That was at 2:00 in the morning. She rattled it off. So that's how that works. By 8:30 a.m., that's when Maureen Miller had come to join her and give her moral support here. Kimberly told her about trying to find the house in Easton for an hour and a half. Maureen said the same question. Maureen said, why didn't you just call me?
Yeah.
Just, my number, just call me.
And she said, where you're at.
She said, well, I didn't want to call because it was too late. You were going to come knock on the door, but not call? That seems like you'd call first, then knock on the door. She said, I didn't want to wake you up. And they were like, okay, why didn't you call Michael? And she said, well, I was just driving around. You know how it is. I was clearing my head. The whole thing was very weird. It was very strange. It made no sense. So you won't call, but you'll ring the doorbell. She also said in the 3 hours, she kept talking about how drunk Stephen was. She said he was just so drunk. He was just gross drunk. He drank a lot. He gotten fairly drunk. He was sloppy drunk. She said during dinner he was consuming a heavy amount of alcohol there. Now, a Talbot County Assistant State's Attorney happened to be seated at the same table as them throughout dinner. That's a problem. Throughout dinner, and he says that Stephen had one beer. That's all he saw him have, and he noticed. And the bartender who served drinks at the table said the people at the table basically didn't drink. The bar bill for the Ricos collectively was $5.51, the price of 2 beers.
Yeah.
One for each of them. Their autopsy on Stephen's body shows a blood alcohol level of 0.00. 0.00. He had one beer 4 hours earlier out of his system. Pissed it out, gone.
Awesome.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, follow-up, they let her go home. Whatever. They don't have any evidence. So, follow-up interview February 23rd. She thinks she's getting away with this shit. A trooper asked for more about the drinking. He said, tell me more about how drunk Stephen was. Was it really bad? How bad was it? And she said, quote, Stephen drank a bottle of champagne on his arrival at the resort. And at dinner, he was drinking heavily, both wine and beer. She said that Stephen purchased more beer to take back to the room. And they said, oh, wow, that must be rough. The weird thing about it is this autopsy report here says he's got a 0.00 blood alcohol level. So that's the weirdest part about it is he didn't drink anything.
This is a man that consumes all this booze. It doesn't show up in his blood. And for whatever reason, nobody else reports he was drunk. This is bananas.
It's so strange. Yeah. She said she had no explanation. She said, well, that's weird. It is.
Strange.
It's sort of medically impossible, as a matter of fact. It's weird as a way to put it. Yeah. You know how that goes. So they said, would you tell us a little bit more about it? And she said, well, she kept saying he was drinking heavily. They gave her the autopsy, and he said, quote, at that time she just stared for a second and said, I don't understand that. What else are you going to say? And I don't understand that. I said, well, could you please explain to me if your husband was drinking this amount of alcohol, why didn't it register? And again, she just said, I don't understand why. I just don't understand. Weird. So a week after Valentine's Day,
she's a nurse.
Super weird. I don't know how that works. Not to mention, she kept calling the troopers asking for an update on the medical examiner's report. Dead. What do you care?
He's fucking not around.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, she's just keeps doing it, though. Keeps asking. They said that, everybody assumed it was just smoke inhalation from an accidental room fire. She kept saying she has curiosity and all this type of shit. And they're like, what is she so fucking curious about? What does she think happened? Aliens killed him and then set the room on? This is crazy. So the whole thing was weird. Then right away, she's like, well, I got to get him cremated. He's got to get cremated right now. He's got to get cremated. They're like, hold on a minute.
Is he Jewish?
Hold on a minute. Yeah, no, hold on. She said, let's, whatever. She just wants the body cremated now. Her friend here, Maureen Miller, said, quote, we went through the list and she pretty much didn't care about what specifics were of the arrangements for a memorial. She was very non-committal. The only thing she was definite on was that she wanted the body cremated. She was adamant on that because she said that's what Stephen said he had wanted. On the day of his death here, Kim went all the way to Stephen's parents in Pennsylvania and talked to Stephen's sister, Jennifer, a different Jennifer, about the funeral. Kimberly's only firm thing was the cremation. She didn't care about anything else. Stephen's sister testified, quote, she let it be known that it was fine with her if we took care of all of it except that the cremation was decided on and that any other aspect she didn't have a strong opinion on, and they were all up to us. Just as long as you char any remaining evidence possible.
Burn it all.
It's all good.
And then the rest of it we'll deal with.
But there had been some holdup, they said, upon releasing the body for cremation. She said that when she She said that she was, they talk about going to the funeral home, and she said that she had anxiety because of this whole thing, because there's a hold on it for cremation. She won't feel better until poor Steven's cremated. That's what she said. She said on the way to the funeral home, quote, she explained when she was in the car that she was too anxious. She didn't feel like she was up to driving herself. She was pretty anxious. In fact, when I picked her up at the curb, she appeared to be restless. She was walking up and down, pacing in an anxious manner. She got in the car. She affirmed that she felt too anxious and shaky to drive herself, and that's why she wanted someone to drive her to the funeral home. And she explained that there'd been a holdup on releasing the body for cremation, and so she's just, she said she had to sign some papers and do all this shit, and she's concerned. She doesn't understand why, and she's just going crazy.
Okay.
She's overwhelmed. She's a poor widow with a 9-year-old grieving child at home.
It's got to be a nightmare.
Has to be the worst. So Kimberly talks to Maureen Miller a week after the death, Stephen's death, and this is after a trooper had come and spoke to Mike and Maureen Miller, and Kimberly had spent the night there the night before. So Kimberly said of Maureen Miller, she asked her if she would contact Jennifer Gowan, the woman she was a bridesmaid for,
right.
Teresa Armstrong, Rachel McCoy by phone to discover what, if anything, any of the three friends had revealed to the police. She's like, call all these chicks I told that I've been wanting to kill my husband for 3 months. See what they've said to the cops. I need to get everybody's story straight. Yeah. Okay. Maureen said she asked me to call them and find out what statements they had made to the police, to seek to learn what friends have been saying to the police. That's very not normal, there. So she said that, the whole thing is fucking crazy. I mean, she's obviously trying to cover this shit up. So Teresa Armstrong said that she had given some information to the police, and Kimberly said she wasn't sure if who else was given information, and now she's paranoid her friends are ratting her out. She said then the friends are all talking to each other. Is she yelling at you, wondering what the fuck? Why is this going on? Did she kill her husband? What's happening here? It's fucking bad. In another telephone conversation, Kimberly and Teresa Armstrong, Teresa asked Kimberly, quote, how she felt about what happened in Harbortown on Valentine's Day. And the answer was, quote, she told me that she was feeling a lot of remorse. Which is not what you say. Now, Now, the medical examiner, what he says is very important. Dr. David Fowler, who's the deputy chief medical examiner for the state of Maryland, Mark LeBeau, who's a forensic chemist and toxicologist with the FBI laboratory in Washington, D.C., and Dr. Timothy Wex, an anesthesiologist at Holy Cross Hospital. They all testify to the effects and characteristics of the drug sustenolcholine here. They say it's extremely dangerous, extremely fast-acting, and ultimately untraceable. The FBI toxicologist testified that it's, quote, is a very dangerous, fast-acting muscle relaxant, typically administered in a clinical setting such as a hospital. It's very dangerous because you stop breathing. The typical administration of this drug would be that you require to be on some sort of life support. So this is when they intubate you, basically.
Right.
Put a breathing tube down your throat. They do this so you don't reject it and tear your fucking throat muscles apart, I would believe. So, yeah, it's closely monitored in that kind of setting. They also testified that this drug can take effect within 5 seconds of being administered in an IV setting and within less than a minute of being administered in a muscle area. Like she said, I'll inject his muscle. He said that the body's natural defenses almost immediately break it down into 2 component parts that are found naturally in the body. So within a few minutes, you may not be able to detect this drug in a blood specimen. It happens that quickly. 10 minutes later, it's not even in a blood sample. That's how fast out of your system. So, because your blood breaks it down. He also said that it's the potentially lethal effect and the speed in which it acts. The other substance which concerned this, he says, was this sustenolcholine. It's only found in operating rooms. It's a drug which causes very, very rapid paralysis of skeletal muscles, which involves also the chest muscles, for breathing and your heart beating and shit. It's been documented, in fact, to stop the heart for a few seconds after being given, but that's kind of uncommon. It acts within seconds if it's given intravenously, and will usually begin to wear off within 2 to 4 minutes. Holy shit.
That's a dangerous ass drug.
It's fucking dangerous to have lying around. So another doctor, the anesthesiologist, confirmed the characteristics and also on its effects on the breathing. He says it depends on the anesthesiologist to breathe for you. A patient will not breathe themselves. The anesthesiologist will have to establish an airway one way or another. You either have to establish an airway by putting a tube down into your mouth, down into your windpipe, and breathing for you with a mask and a bag and all that kind of shit.
Or a tracheotomy.
You can't breathe on your own.
One way or another, you're forcing air down somebody's throat.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also pointed out that this drug is, quote, not inventoried as closely as narcotic drugs because they're so worried about the narcotics. They're not even worried about this shit because who would think to do this? They're only worried about people getting high, not trying to kill somebody.
Right.
It's routinely kept in the operating rooms or available in the operating rooms for the anesthesiologist. It's just on the shelf. So in the second interview, Kim comes very close to confessing something. The trooper finally says, okay, I know about Brad.
Yeah.
What about that? I know about Brad. And she goes, oh, shit. Apparently she was stunned. She didn't say anything. She just stared. So the trooper said, I advised her that we still knew of her affair and that she was having with Brad Winkler. At that time, she said she still never said nothing. She just sat there and stared. And then she finally placed her face in her hands and looked up and said yes about the affair. She was then confronted with the autopsy report again, and her reaction was to stare again and protest that she didn't understand again. I don't understand. Finally, she's confronted with the fact that there's no carbon monoxide or soot found in your husband's body. For him to die of smoke inhalation, he'd
have to breathe it in.
Yeah, he would have had to breathe. Did he die and then the room caught on fire? What the hell happened? So at that point, she said nothing and she just stared some more and she didn't say, and then she said again, I don't understand why. I don't understand how that can be. And he says, the trooper says, quote, at that time she hesitated and never said nothing. And then she kind of bowed her face down toward her hands and she started crying. She continued crying. I said to her, Kimberly, please tell me what happened that night. And she continued crying. She gets up out of her chair, walks over, sat in another chair where she continued crying. Again, I said, please tell me what happened that night. Kimberly said to me, if I tell you what happened, can I go home tonight and see my daughter? That's what she said. I stated to her, Kimberly, please just tell me the truth and what happened that night your husband died. Kimberly looked up and stated to me that I want to tell you, but I want to see my daughter first. I told Kimberly, I said, Kimberly, I will make arrangements for you to see your daughter. She hesitated, sat there, looked up again, and Kimberly stated to me, I really want to tell you the truth, but can I still go home? So she's about to crack, and they let her go home. Rather than say no and push her over the fucking edge, she's got something. They have this thing, her daughter, that they can hold out. That's the window that you need to get a murder confession. They let her go home. Not too terrific here. So they let her go home, but the conversation, when finally they end up arresting her for this.
Well, yeah.
They take her in to try to crack her that way. While she's in jail, Jennifer Gowan, the bride there, is visiting her in jail, and they talk about insurance money, and she said, quote, Kim said that I don't care what anyone says, it wasn't for the money. That's what she says. So she pretty much admitted.
She wants the freedom.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. It wasn't for the money, but that's saying I did something. It wasn't for something. So at the trial, they get the realtor there. The realtor who sold them the house watched the entire trial. She says that she was surprised that Kim's attorney didn't ask for a change of venue, which I'm surprised too. This was a very well covered case in the area. Yeah. She said there was at least 50 stories on Kim's case in the local newspaper and approximately 35 of them on the front page. Trust me, there was a lot of newspaper coverage. By midweek, Judge Horn had dismissed 2 jury members who were not only sleeping but snoring, she says also. The trial that's not good for anybody. The trial's long, too.
Imagine your freedom is resting on the hands of 12.
Fucking wake up. Hey, Grandpa. Jesus. Court started. Jesus. Court started at 8:30 a.m. and continued until 7:30 p.m.
I would snore too.
That's a long day of court, man. That's a long day of court. The judge said that they wanted to wrap it up and get a verdict within a week. That was what the judge said. This is more complicated than that.
Wrap this shit up, please.
Let's go. Kimberly, Jesus Christ. I mean, if you look, her whole thing is she's trying to take everything individually. Well, there's no trace of the drug. Arson is who knows, and whatever. She's trying to say if you look at each individual thing, I'm innocent. But they say if you add this all together with you telling everyone that would listen that you just can't wait to kill your husband, and insurance money, and the fact that you have access to this drug, it kind of makes it difficult here. Everything's intertwined. There's physical fire evidence here. They talk about the key expert witness here is Deputy Michael Mulligan of the Maryland Fire Marshal's office. He says the police got there. Firefighters entered room 506. They found Stephen Rico had been lying on the floor between the beds. 2 badly burned pillows had been beneath his head. He testified that the point of origin of the fire was those 2 pillows. He said that intense heat from the flaming pillows caused the fire to spread on an adjoining bedspread, and that caused the mattress of one of the beds to be burned completely through. He also said there was a flame impingement on the headboard of that bed on the wall adjacent to the burning bed. The carpet in various places had also been burned. Now, they said the body was badly charred from the chest area up to his head, including an upraised left arm. He said that he was of the opinion that the fire had burned for between 5 and 15 minutes, but then burned itself out when the oxygen level in the room fell below the point where it could sustain the fire. That's why so much black smoke, because it went out. They said that they testified that lightning could be ruled out as a cause of the fire. There was no lightning that night. Spontaneous combustion can also be ruled out because that's silly. Right. I know it's happened twice in the history of humankind, but it's not a common thing. And the fire did not have an electrical origin. There's none of that. Right. The only 2 possibilities are careless smoking and also the fireplace in the room. Now, the source of the fuel here was they looked at maybe it was a store-bought like Duraflame log. Yeah. He said it was still warm, but it had obviously not been for some time. It didn't cause a fire. It wasn't on fire. It was just warm. It had burned itself out. So that would be physically impossible to catch anything on fire from across the room with a bed blocking you. Right. It's, whatever. So he also said that he was of the opinion that the fire was incendiary in nature. He felt that through the process of elimination, he ruled this. He said in this case, he's attempted to prove this was an incendiary fire by the use of negative evidence that said it wasn't. It said it couldn't be accidental. It couldn't be spontaneous. It had to be incendiary, is what he said. So she says that he smoked cigars, and he was probably smoking a cigar, and that's what caused the fire. That's her only excuse. Yeah. Must have been a cigar. He dropped it behind his head and did that. So they said, okay, well, let's try to recreate that, is what they did. She said he only smoked when he was drinking. So he wasn't drinking, we know, so whatever, but she's still sticking to the drinking story. In the room, they found under a pillow by the fireplace an unopened 8-pack of backwoods cigars, which are fucking disgusting. They're terrible. They said so they said maybe that was the thing. So over the course of a number of days, they tried to recreate this, basically. They said to eliminate this, he said he went to Rite Aid and bought a package of cigars, and Harbortown gave me a pillow and pillowcase similar to the ones in the room there. He said he took it to Salisbury Burn Tower, where firemen in Salisbury do their drills, and did this whole thing. He lit backwoods cigars. He said originally the first one I had laid it on top of the pillow and the cigar would try to roll off, but when we pick it up and put it back on the pillow and made sure it stayed there. The first time I did it, I left the cigar on until it burned out. It didn't even make a mark on the pillowcase. Right. But as the cigar would burn down, you got down to like the butt kind of thing, and there would be more exposure from the ash on the cigar, and I started to get a char on the pillowcase, but I could never get it to actually burn. He said at that point I started putting a crease in the pillowcase, folding the pillow over, lighting the cigar, putting it in the crease. And he said after I saw it not smoking for a while. I touch it with my finger to make sure it was completely out, light the cigar again, put it back in there. He said I repeated this over and over again. Never took more than 10 or 13 minutes for it to go completely out, and it didn't cause a fire. So he could not get this shit to burn. He tried every fucking thing possible. It would never burn. He also went to the testing facility and tried to apply a backwoods cigar to a bedspread, and the result again was negative. So he couldn't get it to do it again. He also, those backwoods are really moist. Yeah. They're like wet.
They're sticky.
They'll go out. Yeah. They're
a great blunt wrapper, but a terrible cigar.
Not a good cigar. So same thing with the bed, the carpet, Steven's jacket, everything in the room. Nothing. one of these backwoods will not do it. So he said his conclusion was that the backwoods cigars could not have possibly started that fire because he couldn't get it to start anywhere in the fucking room. Right. So they go through all this. They said it would be, so they other people would testify that Stephen has never smoked. No one's ever seen him with any kind of cigarette, cigar, or anything like that. Never. A coworker said that he's been a non-smoker, and there was several occasions when this one guy had socialized with Stephen, and Stephen had refused cigars. One was a company-sponsored trip where they were going out to dinner at a very nice restaurant. Wine was served, and also very high-priced, very nice cigars were offered, and they were saying, like, this is a good cigar. You don't even have to pay for it. Come on. And he was like, I don't smoke anything. I don't want a cigar. He does not fucking smoke a thing. Mm-hmm. So also, yeah, everybody that knows him was like, nope, never a thing, never anything like that. So what they did is they checked, also the room was a non-smoking room. So that was the other thing, which was odd. So they said, well, why were the cigars there? So these cigars they said they investigated 25 stores in the Laurel area to see if they carried backwoods. They ascertained the cigars had come from the Astor Liquor Store in the Laurel Shopping Center, which is near their residence, the Ricos. Kimberly had been a customer there on more than one occasion, and the clerk identified a photo and remembered on that afternoon in late January, early February, she purchased a package of backwoods cigars. Kimberly did.
Shit.
She did. They were also able to ascertain that the 249 marking label on the packet found in room 506 had been made by the Monarch marking gun used by the Astor Liquor Store.
So it was lying ass bitch.
You lying bitch. It was definitely she bought those. So they said that's staging. She lied about her drinking, lied about the husband's drinking, lied about the husband smoking, all this type of shit. The dog sensed an accelerant. So the main defense thing was, well, where's the needle mark if she's injecting him with shit? So they go, you're not going to find a fucking needle mark on a charred body.
Right.
They said, do you know how tiny an injection needle is on your body?
Yeah.
That's literally needle in a haystack.
And a nurse.
And it's burned.
Right.
So find a burn needle in a haystack.
She's good at it.
And she's also good at it.
Right.
She wasn't in there ripping her skin apart. She probably slipped it in real nice here. They said that in a drug addict, it's going to have a little bit of bruising about it, but something like this, which would have been like that, they said you're not going to see bruising at any site because the blood pressure stops. Right. So that's how you can tell that it wouldn't be an obvious one. So yeah, there wouldn't be a bruise on the needle mark. They said it leaves no trace. So her whole thing is there's no trace of this drug. There's no proof I did that. They don't know how the fire started. The dog sniffed an accelerant. I was gone. So her whole thing is you don't have a lot of proof. Okay. I mean, it's obvious that I did it, but you don't really have a lot of physical proof here. Other than all of her friends saying she was going to kill him and, a lot of circumstantial evidence. So the whole case goes on. It's enough to go to the jury. Jury comes back after a little while. It didn't even take too long. Guilty.
Really?
Fuck off. Yeah.
Wow.
So, no, they were convinced. I think because everybody she knew was like, for like 3 months, all she would talk about is killing her husband and fucking Brad.
Right.
So, I don't know. She talked about insurance.
Right.
What
do you do about her spare time? She loves Brad's cock and hates her husband.
And she brought up this drug to several people, so it's bad. During sentencing, Stephen's mother is on the stand here, told the judge that Stephen's death had been devastating and asked him not to show any leniency in sentencing Kimberly. She's 71 years old, this Mary Rico. She said, quote, nothing has been the same. My husband can't talk about him without crying. So, moments before the sentencing, she told, the mother told him, told Kim, I can't think of her name now. I was going to call her Jennifer because there's like 4 people named Jennifer. Kim told the judge that she prays every day that her husband's family can find peace. She says, I feel so sorry for all the sorrow and loss they've endured. Not that I've caused, though. He says, well, you'll have a lot of time to think about that sorrow that you've caused. You, ma'am, may fuck off. Life in prison. Plus 30 years.
Oh, Jesus.
I'd give it another 30 on top of that. Just, that's for the fire part.
Yeah.
You could have killed more people
arsonist
here.
Bitch.
So the response to this, she says she just can't help but cry. She said, she wrote to her friend, I'm so frustrated. I sit here in my cell with a sentence of life plus 30 concurrent, by the way. And I'm innocent. So now she's claiming, she keeps claiming innocence. Her lawyer after the trial said, quote, "The medical and scientific evidence just isn't there. It was that highly charged emotional testimony from her friend saying she couldn't wait to kill her husband."
Right.
That sort of shit. She planned on it. She even told her friend, "I'm going to drug him and set him on fire." So the autopsy here, they're saying, that didn't cause ultimate proof, and it's bullshit is what they're saying here. I don't think so. They said, the prosecutor said, "It is through friends and confidants that we were able to reconstruct a journey that Kim decided to take. The emotion brought in the courtroom by her friends is palpable. They loved Kim and she loved them, and she still said she was going to kill her husband." Now, on appeal, very quick, we're not going to go through it. On appeal, she raises just 3 things. Evidence was not legally sufficient, which is really a gray area on appeal. It has to be so overwhelmingly blatant. The evidence was not legally sufficient to support the conviction for murder is the second one. The first one's arson. Third one is that the medical examiner should not have been permitted to testify that the cause of death was probable poisoning. That's the thing. They're saying, well, he's just guessing. Yeah. He's just guessing, which, I mean, he's the only guy who can really guess at that. Who else is going to guess at it?
That's literally their job.
That's the thing. So that's how that works. Now, in prison, she goes to I have to say one thing. In the court document, it's really condescending. The court document is written in a way that you would never seen a man's case written. Okay. In between, like, everything that happened, probably about a dozen different spaces in this between paragraphs, they will put lines from Shakespeare plays and where it's from. Like, it'll be like, this from Hamlet, or this where it's like murdery shit. It's so weird. Like, even like what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. That's from one, and they'll have that on every single thing. At the beginning of it is like a big thing about Hamlet, so they make it like this is a big like dramatic thing. In the court documents on appeals, this isn't like, it's written like an editorial. It's super fucking weird. Really weird shit here. Now, a friend of hers from college named Esther Getz writes a piece about finding out what happened to her. She said she knew her in the freshman year of college, lost touch with her, and then found out through a friend. Look her up. She said, Google her, dude. She killed her husband. She's in jail for life. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. This Esther Getz is very religious, by the way. A lot of this shit's religious. She says, here's some glimpses at Kim's life. Quote, she works and makes $3.45 a day as a layout engineer using CAD software. She designs office space for municipalities and has even done some dorm layouts for the University of Maryland. So if you're currently in a dorm at the University of Maryland, it might have been designed by a husband murderer. Maybe. You never know. She has to buy all her own toiletries. Tide Pods are $6.99 for a small box. She lives in the most privileged. Don't eat those. Or she can eat those.
Certainly.
Go ahead, eat those. She lives in the most privileged section of the prison because of good behavior. She has a TV and a DVD player. She has seen reruns of the TV shows and where she is featured countless times. She watches them. TV shows about her. She has a pet cat named Lynn. The local shelter partnered with the prison to allow inmates to care for a dog or cat, which goes with them to freedom if they ever get out, which she won't. The cat will get out before her. She started a book club that she's now spread to 3 or 4 other prisons where college professors come and teach, and she speaks to victims' families and allows them to ask her any questions. One thing that's very important at this point, she's admitting she did it now.
Oh, boy.
She's finally admitting it. She's saying that she did it, and she's sorry, and now that's her new thing.
Because she knows that remorse is the only way that she's getting anything.
She's fucked otherwise. She's fucked. Her appeals are failed. She's just totally fucked.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, she's stuck in there, but the Washington Post gave her a platform to write letters because, she is, I don't know how people think of her as a sympathetic character in this whole thing. I really don't see it personally, but
she's a dickhead.
She's kind of a selfish asshole. Yeah. And never mind her and her husband and all that. What about her fucking daughter? I heard very little giving a shit about her daughter.
Nothing.
I want what's best for my daughter. None of that shit. I heard very little. So anyway, she writes, this is a complaints thing about what they're not allowed to have in prison and the what's contraband and what isn't. She says, Kim does, quote, no cash or checks, no glitter or stickers, no greeting cards, no Polaroid pictures, no magic marker or crayon. No escape plans or bomb-making recipes. Well, that one makes sense. She says the currency one does, I suppose, because you can use it to influence guards and inmates.
Right.
Apparently, she says the in-between middle space of a Polaroid's an ideal place to hide drugs. The folds of a greeting card, too. Might be concealing more than wishes for a happy birthday. And, for decades, our mailroom has been primarily staffed by this lady named Miss Beatrice, and she talks about how this lady is by the book, and the whole thing's ridiculous. She gets notices of withheld mail notices for all sorts of shit. She said that it says your mail has been withheld because women. What does that say? Must not work outside the home. That doesn't make sense. Why? I half expected to read. That's what it says here. Half expected to read on my next mail rejection form. Your mail has been withheld because women must not work outside the home. Which he's saying she's an old Puritan, this one here. She says she can withhold mail simply because she feels it's contraband. She talks about one time she got cash by accident, and one time a personal check got through, and one time she got a greeting card. And one time she got a pair of sample earrings tucked inside a jewelry catalog. Who's sending jewelry catalogs to prison?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, your business model sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's not a good one. So she said that her cellmate offered her $5 in commissary for the earrings, and she took it. So she was excited. Yeah, she sold them. She said one time, though, Beatrice cut the bookmarks out of a new Bible someone sent her. And in the space, she wrote that ribbons are contraband. So like the Bible ribbon. She's really, really, really pissed, though, because she's not allowed to read Game of Thrones.
What?
And she really, really wants to read Game of Thrones, and she's super fucking mad about it.
She wants to know about the Khaleesi?
She's super upset about the Game of Thrones thing, and she said that this book was withheld because it contains maps. Maps are contraband. Well, yes, if you're going to escape from the fucking dragon world, yes, but I don't know if...
I don't want you having maps to anything.
I guess not.
No.
I'm going to help you. But she keeps bringing this up constantly. I just want to read Game of Thrones. She said that pictures of her daughter's wedding reception were withheld because alcoholic drinks were shown. They're not allowed to see that. One mail call, she said her friend received an envelope. There's no letter inside. The only thing rattled around was a return address sticker, and the piece of the envelope had been stuck on it. So she basically says this is a mess. A friend of hers, she said somebody sent her, because she's taking a college course, somebody sent her 26 printed out pages, and they're only allowed to have 25, so the whole thing got taken away. She's very picky about a woman who's in jail for murder. You're in jail for murder. Do you understand? Imagine if this is one thing I will say. Obviously, prison sucks for everybody. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. If a man wrote a fucking article saying that they're not happy that they can't read Game of Thrones and people are sort of mean to them and they can't see pictures, people be like, fuck you, you fucking killed cocksucker. They're like, we should publish that. It's different. She should have Starbucks. It's really weird. It's fucking weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's weird, which I get it, because women generally, we treat them a little bit less like psychopaths because for the most part, they're less dangerous physically.
I mean, technically,
they're
Manson
less likely to kill you on
never
purpose.
Killed anybody, but he had some gripes about that prison system.
Gripes. Yeah, he did. That's true. But they didn't let him write it in the Washington Post.
No.
And no one was like, you know what? He should be nicer.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there's been a shitload of books and TV shows about this. A book, The Housewife, Mother, and Killer, The True Story of Kim Rico. It's all that type of shit. I didn't read that crap because it's going to be all inflammatory bullshit. I stuck to the facts here. Also, TV shows, Snapped, and there's like 6 different ones. They're all crap. Yeah. I tried to watch the beginning of one of them, and I watched like the first 6 minutes of the Snapped, and that's the most condescending. I don't know how women watch that show. I know it's on Oxygen, but it's basically like they get a bunch of women like psychiatrists to get on there and be like, you see, women are insane. They're not real stable. And when they get damaged in the head, they'll just do anything fucked up. They say like the shit they say. I'm like, that's not medically true, is it? Like, it's really fucking offensive. I'm like, this is on Lifetime? This sounds like it's on fucking, Tom Likas is doing this or something. What is happening? Jesus. Now, poor Steve. Steve is buried. He is buried. By the way, he was born November 22nd, 1962, which is very Kennedy shooty. It's right around there. It was 63, I know. It was November 22nd, Second or third?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's right around there, 63.
November in Dallas.
Doesn't matter. He is buried at the Spring Creek Presbyterian Cemetery in State College, Pennsylvania. Apparently, Kim has also been trying to get a hold of his family to, like, try to make amends.
Stop.
Oh, she says her goal is to someday have them all be able to heal together past this. And they're like, fuck you, bitch.
We don't need it.
We just don't like you.
Right.
You killed Stephen for no reason. So that is St. Michael's, Maryland.
Wow.
That's a crazy ass story.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a wild one. One of our crazier ones here. I told you this week we'd have a thick, deep one, because last week wasn't, we were on the run. So if you like that, you know what you can do about it? Go to Apple Podcasts, the purple icon. Give us 5 stars. It's so helpful. You have no idea. Thank you for those. It doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions, something like that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder, all the products, everything, tickets to live shows. New one, Nashville, April 7th and 8th. 7th is Small Town Murder. 8th is Crime and Sports in Nashville at Zany's. Lots of stuff coming up. Raleigh, Charlotte, Atlanta at the end of the month. Then I think there's a few left in Houston, some in Philly, DC, and then we're running out of it. All tickets are sold at that point. Dallas is sold out. Houston's almost sold out. St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, sold out. So Milwaukee, 10 tickets left, I think, when the ones they released. So get those right now. If you want to follow us on social media, so you know when these tickets come out and you don't miss them, you can do that very easily. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and of course at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So find us on there. And if you want to be a hero of ours, one of the people we're going to talk about in just a second here, one of our producers who truly make the show what it is and allow us to turn down stupid ads for shit you don't want, because we're not trying to get every dime out of these people. Our producers, we love you guys so much. If you want to be one of those people, very easily can do that. Go to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Both of those can be found right at our website, shutupandgivememurder.com. With that said, I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. I want to hear about the people, Jimmy. Tell me about these people. Poison me with their names and then set me aflame, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Kim Minkler, Jana Dickens, Jordan Bennett, Marianne Kahn, I think. I'm not good at this. Jessica Dowd, Susan McQuilkin.
Hey, there you go, Jimmy. Nice job.
Caitlin Daly and Stephen Tuthill. Tuthill. I think it's Tuthill.
Well, shit, thank you.
So. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys so much. Go the extra mile for us, and we can't do it without you. Thank you. Other producers this week are Freya Hagen, Allegina Huber, TT or Tet or Teet. Might be Teet.
Okay.
Could be. Anna Caruana.
Carinana.
Catherine Green, Julia Crowley Ferenga, Sonny Johansson, Harley's Toys, Seamheads.com, Thomas Smith, Alicia Massey, CL. That was the easiest one that I've done this week. Yes, no.
Pete Rock, is he on there?
I don't know.
Going on?
Who is that? What are we talking?
Smooth and Pete Rock.
Oh, I don't know him.
Never mind.
Never met him.
90s rappers.
All right. Rachel Lammonham, Jude Kendall, Kim Ingrid Song, Jeremy Smith, Jimmy Lewis, Brendan Abels, Colorado Dragonfly, Josh Clarkson, Gina XL, Samantha Diffendaffer, Andrew Lee, Jesse Hartman, Aaron Gerber, Liz Childress, Adam Udany, Jewel Brahms, Aaron Gerber, did I say that? I think I did. Trinity, or Trinite. It might be Trinite.
Oh.
It's probably Trinity.
Adam
Udany, I said that. Reagan Shockley, Eric Friedlander, Laura Torres Carpenter, James Martyr, Kristen Kostrub, I think. Kelly Brown, that's easy. Amanda Stanford, Corey Eugene Kuhn, Andrew Bassinet. I think that's right.
Oh, okay.
Trey Valkener, Carrie Johnson, Todd with no last name, Susanna Platt, Elena Diller, Richard James, Liz Vasquez, and Mark Vasquez. Two different people, two excellent people. Carly G, Luke McQueston, Lainey Marie, Alphelia Cox. That's what
there
it is.
There you go.
Got it. Gary Howard again. Thanks for coming out, Gary. Good to see you, brother. Aaron Layman Gamble, Maggie L, Jeremy Bethune. He donated both ways. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Pete Oberhaus, Shannon Van Alt, Ann Winter, Bex Ailes, Javette Clark, Kyle Godert. I think it's Go Dirt.
Yeah, Go Dirt.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sean with no last name. Sparrow Estes. Sarah Martin. Chelsea 93. Yeah. I think that's probably not her last name. Lauren Ocello or Olello. What did I do? I think it's Ocello. Tracy Renninger. We met her, by the way. She came to a show with her son. Remember?
Yeah,
Tracy?
That was cool. Nice to meet you guys.
Ashley McKeown, Jamie Worrell, George Jorpole. What is that? George Georgopoulos. That's what that is.
Nice.
That's a tough one.
I like it.
Jason Lewis, Carol Chan, Jen Lamb. Thank you very much. Jay Musto, Whitney Gregory, Makeout. I don't know what that is, but look it up. Don't look that up. That might get you weird websites.
You never know.
Tanya Payne,
thank you.
Brittany Hughes, Aaron Ishiak. He donated both ways again also. Thank you, Aaron. Eve KB, Adam Heaton. Adam Heaton, Krista Walker again, Alana Michelle, Kurt Atherholt, I hope. God damn it, I'm terrible at this. I'm trying so hard. Tara Pratt, Michael Dunbar, Jordan Barrett, 13 Foxtrot, Andy Holt, Bridget Barnhart, Emily Allen, Randy Martin, Holly McCassick.
There you go.
There it is. Cal Paxton, Dina with no last name, Laura Yarnell, Edward Kaczynski, Marielle Pelletier. I think that's right.
Not bad.
Lauren Gray, Amanda Jones, Eli Smith, John Mize, Alex Eldridge, E-Bitch from P-Town, Fuzzy Dunlop, Chris Lahores.
Fuzzy Dunlop is a Wire reference,
is
by
it?
the way.
God damn it. I missed it because I don't know what that is. Andy Matiller, Conchata Rowe, Ryan Fisher, Laura Meister, Schmoop McDouple.
Nice.
How do I nail that first try?
Right
that
shot,
doesn't
right away.
stumble me up. Kara Samuels, Rosa Luhana, Brandon Wagner, Margaret Feltner, Rachel Mazza, Ben Johnson, Avery Reed, Ariel Torres, Jeffrey Gladden, Thomas Hyatt, Raphael Corno, Jesse Hingle, Janet Gray, Stephen Haywood, Aaron Studer, Samantha and Angela, Kate Custis.
Home stretch.
Could you see me at the end of a movie doing
You got this, brother.
Joanna Perkins, Heidi Wallace, Kimberly J, Angela Santos, Meg Shattuck, Nick Bogans, I think Bogans, yeah. Nikki Wheeler, Lindsay Sage, Tiffany Winstead, Lindsay D, Maylee, Doug Hoff, and all of our Patreon supporters. You guys, I tried so fucking hard. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts.
Truly,
honestly.
you change worlds.
You change worlds, and you keep this a good show, too, more importantly, for you. You keep this a good show. You have no idea how bunch of people just giving a couple bucks here and there makes it us to be able to go, no, we don't want to sell that dumb shit product. We're not doing that. Our people won't like it, and we don't care what you're going to pay us because we're not interested. So thank you so much for all of that. Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you? How might they do so?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Tell me whatever you want. I like hearing from you guys. It makes this all worth it. So thank you. What about you?
Definitely. You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Look me up that way. It's probably a little bit easier for you to do that than try to find me. But do all of that. Keep finding us. Keep coming back, because we're going to keep coming back over and over. You can't get rid of us, damn it.
No.
You can't get rid of us. Until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.